Yeah, yeah, what? Yeah, what, yeah, yeah. What, yeah. What? Yo, this is a monopoly. Niggas ain't stopping me, and we can't lose, cause Puff set us up properly. Just won't settle for lesser, who won't test us? We be in the 5 with the goose headrests. Locks put niggas under pressure, you shoulda knew that. It's always them new cats that'll get you. Better start looking at things from my angle. I'm trying to be up on the board with a triangle next to my name with a 10 or 20. Now that's when you really can say you getting money. But right now, all I do is sit back and listen to a wise young man that quickly became a rich one. Put me up on the fact it ain't hard to get some chips if I just keep writing with ambition. Then I could advance from the 5 to the 6 and house with 2 kitchens, diamonds, plenty women, built-in pool to swim in. But the plan is to start from the floor and raise it up. Then you hit them in the head till your days is up. You blazing what? Playboy, you frailing, but you know when bad boy drop on your sales is cut.
No one man can stop me. Can I live? No front line can block me. Can I live? It's enough base for all of us. Can I live without the names you're calling us? Can I live? No one man can stop me. Can I live? No front line can block me. Can I live? Or do I got to bring it to these kids? Can I live? If I don't
Time
live,
is money, money
live.
is power, so I'm sour. 22, feeling like I wasted every hour of my life. Should've been, had $1 million in nights. High as a kite, feeling the flight. Turbulence, once in a blue moon I have a dream of fly shit. Hang glide to the Alps with the fly chick. Condo in Fresno with the lesbo. And the honey that she hit know how to stretch blow. They know that I'm styled, they respect the flow. Watch I let a nigga live and help him make a decimal. Truth will set you free, what will a lie do? Niggas said I'm God, but I be getting high too. Can't love the money like niggas besides you, cause when the paper gone, you gon' slide too. Niggas wanna ball but got the fall to rise. While the world spin around, they wanna stall their eyes, close their ears. My nose make me oppose my fear, cause I can smell hell. Before I sell, I'd rather catch a shell, farewell. Niggas will never tell the man that I was pussy, unless they got a gun, and I ain't got one. I might let you push
no
me.
one man can stop me. Can I live? No front line can block me. Can I live? It's enough base for all of us. Can I live without the names you're calling us? Can I live? No one man can stop me. Can I live? No front line can block me. Can I live? Or do I got to bring it to these kids? Can I live? If I don't live, nobody live.
I pray to God to promise me before I see the pearly gates to let my whole team be straight. Mansion, no section 8. Putting pressure on so I can make this bed. Got 2 mattresses, now my knees are spread. With like 4 pillows so my seats can rest their head. You think platinum is enough? Nah, chic want more. Trying to sell more to tickle me Elmo in the store. Italian cuisine, linguine, want my diamonds like Shing. So when I move at nighttime, you might think it's like Ning. Just throw me the ball once, and I tell you no lie. Chic gon' show you the money, like Jerry Maguire. It's a thumb thing, locks, producting, conducting, anything for chips. While you sit and blab your lips in the restaurant taking tips while Chic on trips. Long ocean line ships, busting at the eclipse. Wild pissy, spitting up Chrissy in the water. But you could do that for money when 100's like a quarter.
Can I live? No one man can stop me. Can I live? No front line can block me. Can I live? It's enough base for all of us. Can I live without the names you're calling us? Can I live? No one man can stop me. Can I live? No front line can block me. Can I live? Or do I got to bring it to these kids? Can I live? If I don't live, nobody live.
This is to my AK toters, money bill folders, bad bitch holders, whips with big motors. On the low for years, the feds can't decode us. We bust rounds, all you gotta do is load us. My nighttime prowlers and grimy after hours. Clark and I, Mo Malone and Eddie Bowers. Flipping cake niggas, who stripping tape niggas. Upstate niggas, my Crystal Lake niggas. We gon' hold it down if we gotta shake niggas. And make niggas do what we say or break niggas. Survival of the fittest, blame me cause I did it. Now you see me shining, 2 mil worth for diamonds. And I owe it all a hard climbing. Don't mean that I'ma stop climbing. 9-9 is good timing. I salute my thugs who rock with the drugs and Swiss guns and pay 30,000 slug. Make it happen. I swear to God, if I don't make it rapping, I'm clapping, extorting and robbing niggas' cribs and cars. Can I live?
Can I live? No one man can stop me. Can I live? No front line can block me. Can I live? Or do I got to bring it to these kids? Can I live? If I don't live, nobody live. Can I live? No one man can stop me. Can I live? No front line can block me. Can I live?
hours to live, what would you do? That's some deep right there. A lot of pressure. How would you handle it? Mace, what would you do?
Yo, I turn out all up. It's heterosexual. Smack conceited right off the pedestal. I even look for my dad that I never knew, to show him how I look in my Beretta too. I do good like take kids from the ghetto, show them what they can have if they never settle. Take every white kid from high class level, show them what Christmas like growing up in the ghetto. Teach how to spend, stash the rest. Give down to the under massive stress. Give every bum on the street cash to invest and hope Harlem will blow up. Be my last request.
If I had 24 hours to kick the bucket, I'd probably eat some fried chicken and drink a Nantucket. Then go get a job from Branson and make sure I leave my mother the money to take care of grandson. Load the 3 power, hop in the Eddie Bauer and go give all 6 to that poppy that sold me flour. Get a fresh baldy, make a few calls, shop at the mall, shoot a little ball, have all of my in one telly at the same time, spread it out on different floors, and I'm gonna play lotto. For what? Even though I ain't gonna be here tomorrow. So
you
what?
know when I was close to the ledge, I'd probably be in the wedge with this bad Spanish mommy playing between my legs. Then I'm off to get choked and smoke one of them dreads and get that to me 89 and gave us up to the feds. Thought of mama, wrote her a note, we ain't close. I hate her boyfriend, so I put one in his throat. Around and sniff an ounce of raw, bust the 4, pause, pull out my dick and take a on the floor, jump in the whip, get them cats I wanted to get. Since the tavern on the Green robbery in 86, went home, took a shower in nice cold water, and spent my last hours with my son and my daughter.
You had 24 hours to live, just think, where would you go, what would you do, who would you and who would you wanna notify? Or would you deny that you're about to die? You had 24 hours to live, just think, where would you go, what would you do, who would you and who would you wanna notify? Or would you deny that you're about to die?
If I had 24, gotta get the raw, run all in Poppy spot, put one in his head at the door. For them times that I paid for 20 and he gave me 12, the other 8 had to be baking soda by itself. So Poppy, you dead now, I'm off to the bank with those bricks in the book bag and the stolen Jag I just grabbed. Went in there, grabbed the bank teller with the pretty face, get in the safe and have her take me to my place. We'll make a kid, but that's selfish and that'd be bad for my son to have the same his pops just had. And when I'm down to 23, I'ma be strapped with TNT, run up in City Hall and take the judges with me.
24 hours to live, I'd probably die on the 5th, running the station, squeezing the end. I'll be waiting to get the hell and bust down Satan. Styles on the shit and I got spots vacant. Back to the 24, I'll make it out the precinct shooting that I hate in they face while they're eating. I'm on the job, robbing every so-called dawn. Give the money to my mom and tell her that I'm gone. I would school my little brother that mean I'm harmed. You should learn to tell the future without reading palms. When they coming with the bullets, you prepare with the bomb. So being violent, get stocks and bonds.
24 left until my death, so I'm gonna waste a lot of lives, but I'll cherish every breath. I know exactly where I'm going, but I'ma send you there first. And with the that I'll be doing, I'ma send you there worse. I've been living with a curse, and now it's all about to end. But before I go, say hello to my little friend. But I got to make it right, reconcile with my mother. Try to explain to my son, tell my girl I love her. C4 up under the coat, snatch up my dog. Turn like 3 buildings on Wall Street into a fog. Out with a bang, you will remember my name. I wanted to live forever, but this wasn't fame.
If you had 24 hours to live, just think, where would you go, what would you do, who would you and who would you wanna notify? Or would you deny that you're about to die? If you had 24 hours to live, just think, where would you go, what would you do, who would you and who would you wanna notify? Or would you deny that you're about to die? If you had 24 hours to live, just think, where would you go, what would you do, who would you and who would you wanna notify? Or would you deny that you're about to die? If you had 24 hours to live, just think, where would you go?
Alright? Peace and Black Power family. It's your boy Psychopath and your girl Renee. Black action. Now I mean, with another RBG pill show. What's really hood out there, family? Now I mean, let me get some ones out there. Let's make sure y'all can hear me clearly. I believe y'all can, but I just gotta double check before I be talking for like a half hour. Y'all be like, Psycho, I can't hear you, my bad. But yeah, let me get some shout outs while I wait. But yeah, let's see. Shout out to Unsunken One. Shout out to Bitcoin, Yeti Black, Pookie was good. Let's see. Who else up here? Tim Harvey was good. B1 for Life, Stephanie Moore. Let's see. Who else? Raiden Truth was good. Who else came up in here? Aisha Baz was good. Tachu. What's going on? Shout out to everybody else out there. Might be listening. I might slide through. Back to Love was good. You know what I mean? All right, we good? All right. That's what's up. Yeah, Renee, what's going on with you? How you tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You know what I mean? Got a lot of stuff that happened this week. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Ready to jump on top of some of this. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're about 2 days late on one topic. But yeah, I'm kind of glad we waited because some other shit popped up that we really want to get into. So yeah. But what's good though?
Yeah, we right on time. But no, I'm good. But peace to the chat. Peace to everybody listening. Hey y'all. Like I always ask, can you share the show? We would appreciate it. But yeah, we're gonna get into some things tonight, this evening or whatnot. And yeah, it's major stuff going on in the news, of course, but we got to put our spin on it. We're gonna break some things down. We're gonna go in on some people. It just is what it is. But so we're gonna get into it. But yeah, this should be a good one.
Yeah, so yeah, whenever you're ready, we can get started. I'm
all right.
Ready to go.
Okay. Did you want to show?
Yeah, I'm about to say, we can go ahead and show the clip first. So yeah, y'all know the George Floyd, David Chauvin trial was going on, and we came to a verdict the other day. The world kind of stopped for a second, and everybody was focused on this. This is kind of reminded me of when OJ's verdict came in, and when Rodney King shit came in. Like when those verdicts came in, everybody, like, the world froze for a second. Even if you at work, motherfuckers took time out their jobs to hear the verdict. They need to hear what happened. So yeah, let's get into the actual verdict. We can actually see some of it right now, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna discuss it. So let's get into it, family.
Members of the jury, I will now read the verdicts as they will appear in the permanent records of the 4th Judicial District. State of Minnesota, County of Hennepin, District Court, 4th Judicial District. State of Minnesota Plaintiff versus Derek Michael Chauvin, Defendant. Verdict, Count 1. Court file number 27, CR 20-12646. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to Count 1, unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021 at 1:44 p.m. Signed, juror foreperson, juror number 19. Same caption, verdict count 2. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 2, third-degree murder, perpetrating an eminently dangerous act, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021 at 1:45 p.m. Signed by jury foreperson, juror number 19. Same caption, verdict count 3. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 3, second-degree manslaughter, culpable negligence, creating an unreasonable risk, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021 at 1:45 p.m. Jury foreperson 019. Members of the jury, I'm now going to ask you individually if these are your true and correct verdicts. Please respond yes or no. Juror number 2, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 9, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 19, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 27, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 44, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 52, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 55, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 79, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 85, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 89, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 91, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 92, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Are these your verdicts, so say you one, so say you all?
Yes.
Members of the jury, I find that the verdicts as read reflect the will of the jury and will be filed accordingly. I have to thank you on behalf of the people of the state of Minnesota for not only jury service, but heavy-duty jury service. What I'm going to ask you to do now is to follow the deputy back into your usual room, and I will join you in a few minutes to answer questions and to advise you further. So, all rise for the jury. All right, be seated. With the guilty verdicts returned, we're going to have Blakely, you may file a written argument as to Blakely factors within 1 week. The court will issue findings on the Blakely factors, the factual findings, 1 week after that. We'll order a PSI immediately returnable in 4 weeks. And we will also have a briefing on, after you get the PSI, 6 weeks from now, and then 8 weeks from now we will have sentencing. We'll get you the exact dates in a scheduling order. Is there a motion on behalf of the state?
The state would move to have the court revoke the defendant's bail and remand him into custody pending sentencing.
Bail is revoked, bond is discharged, and the defendant is remanded to the custody of the Hennepin County Sheriff. Anything further?
All
right. Thank you. We're adjourned.
All right, family. And there y'all go. Know what I mean? Just in case y'all missed it, I'm sure y'all saw it. But just in case y'all missed it, we just wanted to, give y'all a refresher of what actually happened. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pass it off to Renee so she can, get deeper into this.
Okay. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna read this article to y'all. Breaking some of this down because we need to know the full story here, the full scope and what's going to go down and everything else. So, all right, this first article, this comes from CBS News. Ex-cop Derek Chauvin convicted of all charges in George Floyd's death. Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin was convicted Tuesday on all counts in the death of George Floyd, whose killing sparked worldwide protests and a reckoning on race in the U.S. After about a day of deliberations, the jury found Chauvin guilty of unintentional second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter. Judge Peter Cahill read the verdict at the heavily secured Hennepin County Government Center in downtown Minneapolis, where the trial began last month. A cheer could be heard from the crowd of peaceful protesters that had gathered outside. Chauvin showed little reaction after the verdict was announced. Judge Cahill announced his bail had been revoked and Chauvin was led away in handcuffs. Cahill said sentencing will take place in about 8 weeks. The jury, made up of 6 white people, 4 black people, and 2 multiracial people, heard 13 days of sometimes emotional testimony. The jury was sequestered during the deliberations, but was not sequestered during the earlier portion of the trial. In his closing argument, prosecutor Steve Schleicher urged jurors to focus on the video showing Chauvin pressing his knee into Floyd's neck for more than 9 minutes. Believe your eyes, Fleischer said. Unreasonable force, pinning him to the ground. That's what killed him. This was a homicide. Fleischer said Chauvin showed indifference, definitely, to Floyd's pleas for help and continued restraining the man even after he was unresponsive, ignoring the bystanders who were urging him to ease up. This case is exactly what you thought when you first saw it. When you first saw the video, he said, it's exactly that. It's exactly what you saw with your eyes. It's exactly what you knew. It's exactly what you felt in your gut. It's what you now know in your heart. This wasn't policing. This was murder. In his closing argument, defense attorney Eric Nelson said the state has not proven its case beyond a reasonable doubt and has not been able to definitely show how Floyd died, or definitively show how Floyd died. Yeah, right. He said that while the state called a series of experts to testify positional asphyxia was the cause of Floyd's death, it, quote, flies in the face of reason and common sense to suggest that Floyd's drug use and heart disease did not play a role, Nelson said. Bullshit. Nelson has argued a combination of Floyd's underlying health disease, adrenaline, and the fentanyl and methamphetamine he had ingested prior to the arrest amounted to a fatal combination. He called the case, quote, tragic, but said it was an example of, quote, officers doing their job in a highly stressful situation. In Minnesota, second-degree murder carries a maximum sentence of up to 40 years in prison. Third-degree murder is punishable by up to 25 years in prison. Second-degree manslaughter is punishable by up to 10 years in prison. But sentencing guidelines recommend less time for offenders with no criminal history. In that case, the suggested sentencing range for unintentional second-degree murder and third-degree murder is the same, from just over 10 and a half years to 15 years in prison. The recommended median sentence is 12 and a half years. The same sentence handed down in 2019 to Muhammad Noor, a former Minneapolis police officer convicted of third-degree murder for firing a shot from inside a squad car and killing a white woman, who had called 911. Someone convicted of second-degree manslaughter with no criminal history will likely spend about 4 years in prison. In the Chauvin case, prosecutors have introduced a series of, quote, aggravating factors that could add additional time to Chauvin's sentence. They include committing a crime in front of a child. The youngest bystander who witnessed Floyd's fatal arrest was 9 years old, and using police authority to commit a crime. The other 3 officers involved are charged with aiding and abetting and are expected to be tried jointly in August. All right, so that's pretty much the deal on that. The U.S. Attorney General said civil rights investigation into George Floyd's death is ongoing. U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland said Tuesday in a statement that the Justice Department's civil rights investigation into the death of George Floyd remains ongoing. While the state's prosecution was successful, I know that nothing can fill the void that the loved ones of George Floyd have felt since his death. So yeah, that doesn't mean much. Briefly, Biden says the verdict can quote, be a giant step forward in the march toward justice in America. Get the hell out of here. President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris commended the jury's decision in remarks Tuesday night, saying it can be, quote, a giant step forward toward justice in America. Today's verdict is a step forward, Mr. Biden said. Nothing can ever bring their brother, their father back, but this can be a giant step forward in the march toward justice in America. How many times are they going to say that? Mr. Biden also spoke to the feeling that Chauvin's guilty verdict is much too rare and that it is a result of a unique and extraordinary convergence of factors. More BS. Now, I want to give a little bit more detail as to what is going to happen now. Okay, so this comes from CNN. And this tells you where he's at and everything. Derek Chauvin is in a prison's segregated housing unit for his safety while he awaits sentencing. I hate when it just, starts playing video. CNN is good for that on their articles. All right. Former Minneapolis police officer, and I don't know if y'all seen his new mugshot. Ooh, y'all, it's hilarious. But anyway, former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin was put into prison's segregated housing unit for his own safety. A prison spokesperson said after Chauvin was found guilty of the murder of George Floyd on Tuesday. Here is what's next for Chauvin after his conviction. Okay. Sentencing will begin in 8 weeks. Chauvin will be sentenced in about 8 weeks, so around the second week of June. Judge Peter Cahill said Tuesday with a precise date to be announced. Although Chauvin had been out on bail since October, Cahill revoked Chauvin's bail after the verdict, and so now he will await sentencing while behind bars. He is being held in a segregated unit. Chauvin on Tuesday was taken to a state prison, the Minnesota Correctional Facility at Oak Park Heights, to await sentencing. Department of Corrections spokesperson Sarah Fitzgerald said the correctional facility is in Stillwater, about 25 miles east of downtown Minneapolis. Okay, there he was placed in an administrative control unit, a housing unit that is separated from the general population, Fitzgerald said. He is on, quote, administrative segregation status for his safety. Administrative segregation is used when someone's presence in the general population is a safety concern. He is at the prison through an agreement between the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office and the Minnesota Department of Corrections. The judge will consider these factors. Chauvin's sentence will depend on several factors, including the state sentencing guidelines and whether the judge decides to go beyond the guidelines because of certain circumstances. Technically, as I just read in the article, technically though, Chauvin could face up to 40 years in prison for the second-degree murder, up to 25 years for third and 10 for manslaughter. However, because he has no prior criminal record, the state guidelines, doesn't really suggest that. And as I said, it'll be about 12 and a half years, which is suggested. The judge is given discretion to hand down a sentence between 10 and 15 years, though. But more than likely, they're going to go with 12 and a half. Second-degree manslaughter carries a presumptive sentence of 4 years for someone with no record. So as I read that already, but the judge's discretion can range from 3 years to 4 years and 8 months. However, prosecutors are asking for a tougher sentence than the recommendations provide. We'll see about that. In two filings last year, prosecutors said 5 aggravating factors warrant an increased sentence. Those factors include that Floyd was particularly vulnerable, that he was treated with particular cruelty, and that children were present when the crimes were committed. If the judge applies aggravating factors, it would shift Chauvin's sentence to a higher part of the legal range. The sentences for all 3 crimes would likely be served at the same time. That's important. That's a major key. Not consecutively. Generally, when an offender is convicted of multiple current offenses, concurrent sentencing is presumptive, according to the guidelines. So typically, that's the default position, typically. Now, the judge can decide that the person should serve these sentences consecutively, but typically they go with concurrent off the rip. All right, and the last part here is, what about the other officers charged? The 3 other officers facing charges in George Floyd's death are expected to be tried together in August. Tao, who was the Asian dude who's his brother-in-law, by the way, Thomas Lane, and J. Alexander Kuhn are all charged with aiding and abetting second-degree murder and aiding and abetting second-degree manslaughter. So, again, this will be tried in August, and they'll be tried together because they were all pretty much in the same capacity. So yeah, those are some details, basically about what's going to happen now, because I think that's a major key. You had a bunch of people cheering and all of this stuff and crying and going crazy, behind the guilty verdict and guilty on all 3 counts. But the thing about it is, slow down. Slow down, because we haven't got to the sentencing part, and that's extremely important. So therefore, if we go ahead and believe that because he is a first-time offender, if you will, then for one, like I said, the charges or the cases are going to run concurrent, not consecutively. Okay, so he'll be serving all of them at one time, and he's going to already start at a much lower threshold. So 40 years is not even on the table. That's not even on the table. We're going to start out with about 12 and a half years. So if you want to look at it, if he has good time, some things like that, max, he might serve 9-10 years maximum. Who knows? It could be even shorter than that, but he's probably not going to serve over 10 years in prison. And he intentionally knelt on this man's neck for 9 minutes. You had children out there saying, get off. You had the people in the community saying, he can't breathe. He was telling him he couldn't breathe. He was already handcuffed. He showed extreme cruelty. But at the end of the day, he's going to get the lighter sentence. That's just what it is. And so if we can anticipate that he's going to probably get about 12 or 12 and a half years or less, okay? But that's probably the top that he's going to get is 12 and a half years. Then the other officers, what? They going to get a max of like 5 years? Because they're not getting the actual charge. They're for aiding and abetting the charge. So aiding and abetting second-degree murder. So they're not even going to start at 12 and a half years. They probably going to get about 5. So at the end of the day, George Floyd's never coming back. But Derek Chauvin, he going to be back. He going to be back able to get out of prison and be back in the free world again. Because let's also be clear, while he's awaiting right now, he's in the segregated area, while he's awaiting sentencing, let's be clear. Most of the time they say in prison, people don't like police in prison, right? They don't like pigs in prison, and they go hard on the pigs in prison. And a lot of times they will keep them segregated even in prison. But for him, oh no, he's gonna be well taken care of because he done killed a black man on film. He done killed a nigger. He done killed a nigga. So them white boys, them Aryan boys, they don't give a damn if he was a cop. They gonna have his back to the fullest. He gonna be able to get down with them. They gonna make sure the black people in there don't touch him. They gonna make sure he's good. So he's gonna be all right. Not to mention the white officers, the white correctional officers gonna make sure he good. I told y'all on the previous show that it's 8 black and other quote unquote minority officers who were putting in, sorry y'all, I'm getting the message, who were putting in, they filed reports saying that they were taken off of his floor, that they were not allowed to guard him. They was making sure that the white boys kept guard over Chauvin. They was making sure that no black people get around him, so that he was taken care of. They looked out for him while he was in there. And this fool done been out since October. He done been in the free world since October. So he's had it good the whole way. And let's also mention, there's going to be appeals. Now, what they tried to do before ahead of the verdict on Tuesday, what they tried to do was use Maxine Waters. I don't know if y'all saw that whole story with her, but she had come to Minneapolis, to the Brooklyn Center or whatnot, and she was there speaking to protesters and people, in the case of this, of the recent young man that was killed, the biracial young man recently killed. And as she was speaking to them, she was saying, we need to be confrontational. We need to be more confrontational. She was saying, this guilty better come back, this verdict better come back. Guilty, guilty, guilty. It should come back. Guilty, guilty, guilty. That we need to, if he doesn't get found guilty, we need to be more confrontational. We need to let these people know we mean business, right? Now, mind you, this is an older woman. This is an elderly woman. She ain't out here supporting nobody carrying no guns. She ain't out here supporting nobody committing acts of violence. But they try to use her as a scapegoat. Derek Chauvin's defense tried to come out and say it should be a mistrial because of what the Congresswoman said. The Congresswoman from California said. Now, mind you, the jury was sequestered. So how does this have any relevance to the jury? How does this make any difference? How does this factor into anything with the decision on this case? So they tried to use her as a last minute, scapegoat so that they could try to get him off. Now, the judge, he knew he couldn't do anything about it, but he still threw him a bone. He still threw him a bone, and he gonna sit up and say that her comments were abhorrent, that he wishes these politicians would keep their mouth closed. And he told them, I would say, you definitely have a case. She gave you a lifeline. You got a case for an appeal. Based on what Maxine Waters said, that is a prime example of white supremacy in action. You had the damn president of the United States of America tell people to come out January 6th. It's going to be wild. He told the people on January 6th to go down to the Capitol. He said a lot of different things. He said fight like hell and all of this other stuff. And nobody could use that against him. When these people ran up in the Capitol holding Trump flags, when they ran up in the Capitol, well, you can't use that against him. Well, no, he didn't incite anything. And no, not Donald Trump. But she goes and she's telling people to be confrontational in a way that's like the civil rights movement. Like, that's the perspective she's speaking from? When does she ever promote violence or guns or any of that? Trump and them do, but she doesn't. But yet that's supposed to be an excuse for this man to have a mistrial. So, that situation was not going to work. But just know the appeals are coming, right? And just know that's one of the things they're going to try to use to overturn the verdicts. Is that Maxine Waters came out, she said these certain things, that tainted somehow, I don't know how, but that somehow tainted the jury or somehow tainted the process or somehow tainted the case. When everybody saw on video what this man did. I have one more little article I wanted to give y'all though on this, and this just goes to show you what's really going on out here. Okay, now this article comes from the Washington Post. Okay, And this article is Massachusetts Police Department apologizes for anti-George Floyd message on Facebook after the Chauvin verdicts. Okay. Hours after a jury found former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin guilty of murder on Tuesday, the Facebook page for the Fall River Police Department in Massachusetts shared a post suggesting George Floyd was to blame for his own death. This is what it said, y'all. Chauvin immediately stood and calmly placed his hands behind his back after the verdict, read the since deleted post, the Herald News reported. Imagine where we'd be if George had done the same. On Wednesday, the department apologized for the message, claiming an officer had intended to post it on his personal account. It is with great regret that the Fall River Police Department's Facebook page was accessed by personnel who inadvertently reposted an opinion that was meant for their own personal account, the department wrote on Facebook. The posting in no way represents the opinion of the chief of police or the Fall River Police Department. Facing a mounting backlash, Fall River Police Chief Jerry Cardoza said he was, quote, extremely disappointed by the mistake and pledged to investigate whether the officer should face discipline. I understand why people are upset, Cardoza said in an interview with the Fall River Reporter. I'm upset as well. Cardoza, who said he had personally talked to the officer about the incident, did not specify how the department might discipline the officer, who has not been named. Why has he not been named? Several police officers across the country have been suspended or faced discipline for sharing opinions about Floyd since his death last May. In June, a Missouri police officer was suspended for mocking Floyd's pleas that he couldn't breathe. And a month later, a corrections officer in Kentucky was suspended without pay for criticizing Floyd on social media. In March, a Michigan officer who posted a racist meme of Floyd on Facebook resigned. Hours after the jury found Chauvin guilty of all charges on Tuesday, Cardoza told the Fall River Reporter someone shared a screenshot of a tweet criticizing Floyd with the officer in charge of administering the department's official Facebook account. That's when the officer got his personal and professional Facebook accounts mixed up, the chief said. That's bullshit. You a damn lie. He thought he was going to put that on his own Facebook account, and what he did is he put it on ours, Cardoza said. The officer took down the post less than 10 minutes later, as soon as he realized the mistake. Oh my gosh. But many had already taken screenshots by then, and local media soon wrote about the incident. In an email shared with the Washington Post, Fall River Mayor Paul Coogan called the message disappointing, frustrating, and unacceptable. The post, despite being intended for a personal page, contains beliefs completely incompatible with my hopes for the Fall River Police Department, Coogan said. Cardoza vowed to conduct a thorough investigation, adding that the officer is extremely remorseful. You a damn lie. How the hell is he remorseful if he was going to post it on his page? To put it mildly, he's pretty devastated right now and knows that he made a big mistake. Cardoza told the Fall River Reporter, but having said that, he certainly created some animosity with some folks in the public, and I just can't have that. So yeah, y'all, those were the articles I wanted to read about the case. I'll say this before I throw the psycho. That's complete BS. That's complete BS. We know damn well the officer did that intentionally. The chief knows it was done intentionally. if they could just make up some lie and say, oh, you know, he thought he put it, well, it was his page. It's just a mistake, right? That's supposed to make everything okay. It's just a mistake. Like the chick who pulled out her gun and not the taser. It's just a mistake. Nah, listen, these police is mad. Let me tell you, these police are pissed. They mad as hell. And they ain't mad at Derek Chauvin for bringing all of this attention down on their head. They mad at the fact that he had to get found guilty. They mad as hell that Black people and even other white people are calling this out. They mad as hell that this caught fire so that all over the world people saw the video. All over the world people are interested in what's gonna, what was gonna happen to Chauvin. They pissed. You know, and one of the things is that, you know, white people in many ways are feeling insecure, the police especially, because they have been able to do so much for so long and get away with it. So that anytime, even there's a tiny drop, a tiny speck of accountability, oh, they can't have that. They can't have that. Because see, they supposed to be able to do whatever they want to us with impunity. To kill us, shoot us, kneel on our neck for 9 minutes, do whatever you want to, whether it's on video or not, and get away with it. So you have one singular case that was on video that you couldn't get around. I mean, his defense really couldn't come up with anything. Once it was already shown, the methamphetamine in his system was not even enough for what's considered a pharmaceutical dose. It was even less than that. It was considered basically insignificant, totally. Like it had no impact on anything in his system, in his body or whatever. Once that was ruled out, and then the whole thing about the fentanyl, once it was shown, hey, a fentanyl overdose, here's what happens. The person, yeah, they truly can't breathe. They're not gonna be up, walking around, alert, none of that. And once they shown the fentanyl in his system was also insignificant to what ended up happening, they really didn't have anything else because there's nothing else you could really say. Then they try, oh, he has some heart condition. Listen, if you kneel on somebody's neck for 9 minutes, they could be at a superior level of health and they will die. They will die. So they really didn't have anything else to go on. You know, they kind of tried the narrative of the superhuman Black people, that the Incredible Hulk Black man, and he was fighting off all of these officers and they had to do him like that because he's so big and monstrous. He could just flick off, grown men like it was nothing. They tried that. It didn't work. They tried a lot of things that didn't work. So they really didn't have much to go on in this case. And I will say that the prosecutors in this case actually did a pretty good job at the end of the day. But the fact that it took all of this, it took the video, it took the whole world seeing it, it took America somewhat having to be somewhat shamed. Somewhat, and I say somewhat because they don't really care anyway, but somewhat shamed in terms of the world seeing it. They kind of had to say, okay, all right, well, we're gonna go and give him a little 12 years, do a little 12 years. He'd be good. He might do 10 or whatever. He'll be good. We'll go and give him that little time. Because 95% of cases where officers are brought up on charges for killing people, 95% of the time they get off. I mean, that's a hell of a ratio. Because we already know how much it takes just to get an officer charged. So think about that. They don't don't even charge officers. So you know you gotta have a hell of a case just for an officer to be charged. And then when they are charged, in 95% of those cases, they get off scot-free. They good. So he's definitely in the minority. This definitely was a rare case. And there have been so many George Floyds throughout history, and there will continue to be. And many of them, it was not on video. Many of them didn't catch fire all over the world. And those police officers never were charged, never were sentenced, never had any other issues. They kept right on with their job and doing whatever the hell they wanted to do. So now these white officers, they pissed. And let me say this, I promise I'm gonna throw it to Psycho, because we got so many layers to get into some of this stuff. But I told y'all this when Trump lost. These white officers, I told y'all this, go back to their show. Right after it was official, I said these white police officers about to turn the hell up. They about to turn up because they pissed. They boy ain't in there. So now they really about to take it out on the Black community. They really about to be out here really killing for real, as they've been doing, but they gonna do even more. They really about to be out here acting a fool. And so are these other white people that's not police officers. White people are pissed. And it was I can't think of the man's name. He's some big white person in the conservative world. He's verified and all that. And he had came out and was saying that he has over 1 million followers, and that he would say the overwhelming masses of those people are extremely pissed about the Chauvin verdict, that they agree with people like Tucker Carlson, who's pissed about it, who feels like, George Floyd got what he deserved and all of that kind of stuff. These white people are pissed. Trump ain't in there. They pissed that the liberals are in office. They pissed that it's a drop of a Black woman somewhere in the mix. They pissed that Chauvin had to be held accountable. And they just gonna be out here turning up. So y'all better keep your eyes open, and y'all better be ready for certain things that's gonna be popping off. But I'll pass the mic to Psycho.
Yeah, that's real though. And it fucks me up when I see Black people up here, Black people pissed off that George Floyd's killer, his killer got found guilty in the court of law. These same quote unquote law-abiding citizens, these same quote unquote constitutionalists, these same motherfucking morality politics ass motherfuckers will sit up here and be upset that George Floyd's killer got found guilty in their quote unquote court of law. The judicial system they seem to always have faith in, as long as Black people are getting convicted. When a white motherfucker gets convicted for killing a Black man, then the judicial system is a problem. Then the government is now a problem. Right? I want y'all to peep how these motherfuckers' minds work. And then they wonder why we call him coon. This is why I call you coon. You wonder why I call you coon. This is why I call you coon. These same weirdos that will sit here and make excuses Ashley Babbitt getting her ass popped, as she should, getting her ass popped for trespassing on the nation's capital with motherfuckers with zip ties trying to do somebody's God knows what to government officials. They will make excuses for this shit. And make excuses for that mob and them thugs that ran up in the joint. And then get mad that this killer got found guilty for murder. Solely because it was a black man who died. Therefore, his life shouldn't count. Ashley Babbitt's life means everything. This Negro's life don't count. These coon-ass Negroes get on my motherfucking nerves. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And every day talking about these cops making these motherfucking tweets talking about that shit was a mistake. He thought he was tweeting from his own account and all this other shit. Like that makes it much better. Like that makes it much better and shit. Right? Oh, it was a mistake and everything. Bullshit. Bullshit, you bitch ass fucking pigs. Bullshit. Y'all ass the fuck out of here. Y'all motherfuckers tight. Y'all motherfuckers tight. All you blue lives matter ass motherfuckers is tight. Y'all mad as shit. White supremacy goons. Pissed off. All around the globe. Just listen to them crying since the verdict came in. Shedding mad tears. They've been crying since before that. They've been crying since November. These are some crying ass motherfuckers. For the last, 6 months. Just whiny all over the fucking place. Just shedding mad tears all over, man. It's just disgusting. I'm swimming in fucking white supremacy coon fucking tears. What are y'all doing over here? I don't like swimming in salt water. Your tears are salty. I don't want to be swimming in this salt water. Stop crying. Whiny ass motherfuckers. Snowflakes. Triggered ass motherfuckers. I swear the right is a bunch of snowflakes. These are a bunch of thin-skinned, snowflake ass, pathetic weirdos. That's what the right is. They will try to convince you the left is the snowflakes. No, these fuckers are snowflakes. For real. These some thin-skinned motherfuckers. Trust me, I know. Whenever I try to push back on some of their rhetoric, these fuckers get triggered. They start yelling, screaming, hooting and hollering, not making no fucking sense, sounding belligerent. I'm like, yo, calm your ass the fuck down. Motherfuckers be bugging. Emotional ass, snowflake ass motherfuckers. Crazy. Ain't nobody more emotional than them motherfuckers. Motherfuckers full of estrogen. They just be getting triggered. What you so triggered about? And they be getting triggered because you talking about white people. Because you talking about white people. That's the funny thing. They not getting triggered because you talking about them. They not getting triggered because you talking about their mother. They not getting triggered because you talking about their wife. They not getting triggered because you talking about their kids. They ain't getting triggered because you doxed them or some other weird ass shit. No. They get triggered because you banging on white people. That's what these motherfuckers get triggered over. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. You know what I mean? Renee's on point with it. Yo, I ain't even a Maxine Waters fan. I really don't. I'm really not. Let me put this out here. I am not a Maxine Waters fan. But we gotta keep it a buck around here. They did try to use her as a scapegoat. They tried to literally use her as a scapegoat. Because these white supremacists, these coons, are grasping at straws at this point. They've been holding so many L's, they need to grasp at some straws now. So now they gotta take a statement from 98-year-old Maxine Waters and try to spit it like she Remy Ma or some shit. About to, you know what I mean? About to get the goons on motherfuckers and shit. About to get the goons. They making it seem like Maxine Waters got the goons lined up. And she putting the call out. And motherfuckers just gonna move at the snap of her old ass fingers. That shit 95 years. That shit ain't got no goons. Y'all motherfuckers need to stop. Stop. What the hell is y'all talking about over here? That shit is ridiculous. Stop using her as a goddamn scapegoat. I don't fuck with it either, but y'all motherfuckers is grasping at straws at this point. Y'all just want a dub. Y'all like, we gonna find us a dub. We get tired of holding these L's. These shit's heavy as hell. I'm gonna find me a dub somewhere. What did Maxine say? What she say? Oh shit, there it go. There it go. There it go. See, this is why I be talking about the godocracy. See, here go the godocracy again. There it go. This is what we be trying to tell y'all. These women be having they high heels on our necks. Black female supremacy is taking over again. This is proof that black female supremacy is not a myth. These blue pill simp ass pro-blacks with they black queens trying to deny black female supremacy. These motherfuckers are delusional. The supremacy is real. These black women, they ruined everything. And Maxine Waters is proof. Black female supremacy. You motherfuckers be wildin', son. Like everything rolls back to women. I don't even want to get to those motherfuckers. They be zoning me. Everything rolls back to women. It's like, stop. Jeez, fuck. Anyway, what I don't want motherfuckers to do though, you know what I mean? I gotta stress this, family. What I don't want black people to do in this position right now is celebrate that verdict too hard. You know, let's not get overly exuberant about, you know, him being found guilty as he should. But let's not get too happy though, family. I gotta be the guy to tell you to pump your brakes. Right? Because the verdict might be in, but this motherfucker didn't get sentenced yet. He didn't get sentenced yet. I want to know what happens when this motherfucker gets sentenced. You know, I saw people in chat saying 15. I saw some saying 13, and Renee just said 10. Me personally, I got him doing less than 10 years. I think he's going to do less than 10 years. They might give him 10 or better, but that motherfucker will be home before 2030. By 2030, his ass will be home. Bank on it. Bank on it. If he ain't home by 2030, I'm shocked. I'm beyond shocked. Because I'm willing to put money that motherfucker will not be locked up come 2030. I'm willing to put money on it. I'm willing to lay my bets down. By 2030, he'll be home. So let's wait until this motherfucker actually gets sentenced. Because these motherfuckers, I don't trust these motherfuckers. I don't trust these motherfuckers to do the right thing. I don't trust them. I ain't never trust the judicial system whatsoever. I don't trust these son of a bitches. Right? They full of shit. They gonna. Let's not forget what happened with Amber Geiger. Let's not forget what happened with Amber Geiger. Everybody was happy as hell. She got found guilty. And then her sentencing happened. And then everybody was complaining how this is bullshit. Right? Like she only gonna do 3 to 5. Like I said, wake me up when the sentencing is over. I know what he should get, but what he should get and what he's actually going to get don't always line up. So yeah, I just gotta let y'all know. Know what I mean? Let's see, the concurrent is going. How to do 10 years? All right, yeah. Like I said, they might give him 10 or whatever, but he's got. I still think he'll get off early. Know what I mean? But yeah, Renee, you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay.
I think he. Yeah, I definitely agree with you that I don't put nothing past them, and yeah, it definitely could be shorter. I see him doing probably around 10 years personally. So we're gonna see what comes out. We're gonna see what shakes out. But I see him doing around 10, and because they gonna try to make it seem like, because like I said, he's already starting at 12 and a half. So I'm thinking with good time and all that kind of stuff, it might take about 2.5 years off of his sentence. So he might end up around 10. But, we gonna see, because I don't put nothing past them, like you said. But I want to say this to y'all, and hopefully y'all saw on the thumbnail where I had on there, Black people, stop accepting scraps, right? And the thing is celebrating scraps. And one of the disturbing things I saw on Tuesday after the verdict was, all of these Black people, and particularly in, Minneapolis, outside of Cup Foods where George Floyd took his last breath. It was all of this celebrating, and I understand why, and I'm definitely not trying to shame people for their responses to that. It's well warranted, because I understand, but I feel like at the end of the day, this is so sad. This is so sad, and it's so pathetic. It's pathetic, and I'm gonna tell you why. We really just dealing with accepting the bare minimum. Like, do y'all understand that? This whole thing was on video. All of the expert testimony, there was no way around it. It was no way around any of this. Yet, Black people were still sitting on the edge of their seat. Black people were still holding their breath. Black people still had their fingers, their toes, and everything else crossed. Black people were still praying and begging and pleading for this man to be found guilty. Like, what does that really say that's going on here? And as much as you have so many Black people, we're gonna go on these coons in a minute. But as much as you got black people out here that say, oh, black people got equal opportunities as everybody else, and y'all still talking about white supremacy in 2021, and as much as you hear all of that BS from other black people, and as much as you hear all the BS from white people that I don't see color and I don't judge people by their color, I go by character and Martin Luther King, and as much as you hear all that, it's all, excuse my French, bullshit. At the end of the day, what we know is America's two different Americas. It's one for white folks and other people, and it's one for black people. That's what we know. Play all you want, that we equal, we can do whatever we want, we can be whatever we want. We had a black president, right? A black quote unquote president, right? We got a black vice president, a black woman as vice president, right? Quote unquote. And for those who don't know, I'm kidding about either one of them being black, by the way. But this is what people say, right? So we can do, it's equal. We in a post-racial society. Ain't nobody holding you back. Black people always talking about somebody holding you back. The white man ain't holding you back. With all that being said, all that being said, everybody knew it very easily could have went the other way. Everybody knew. We've seen it one too many times. We've seen it our entire history. Our grandparents, great-grandparents, they done all seen it. I tell y'all all the time, the Rodney King case set the precedent. The Rodney King case said to black people, look, now we're going into a new age of technology where y'all might have cameras, video cameras on y'all. Y'all might be able to record things going on that the police do to black people that they've always done. But just because you get that on video, it doesn't mean anything. That doesn't guarantee the officer will be charged, let alone get convicted. Just because you've got a video, it doesn't mean anything. So that case really set it up for everything else to come. That's why in so many other cases, you know, where there was video footage, the officer still got off. And like I said, even with this case, it was close. Black people knew, like, yeah, this could easily be very different. We knew that. I mean, look at the hell it took for them to even charge him. Because if y'all don't remember, when the situation first went down, and shout out to the young sister who recorded this, because had it not been for her, it really would have been no conversation at all about none of this. Let's be real. But if y'all remember when it first happened and the video was initially put out there, the district attorney said, hey, I don't see anything that needs to be charged here. If y'all remember that, they didn't charge him at all. And then that's when people started turning up. Because see, people love to rewrite history, right? And act like all these people got out there and just start rioting, tearing stuff up and doing all of this stuff. No, they did it because people saw the video. They saw he intentionally killed this man. He kneeled on this man's neck for 9 minutes while he's handcuffed face down in the street. Okay? And people were pissed that there's no charges for this officer. There's nothing. There's nothing being done. And that's when people started turning up. And then that's when they put, I think, what's his name? Keith Ellison on the case, I believe. No. First, what happened is they didn't charge him. Then that's when they came with lower charges, for Chauvin. Okay, they came with lower charges. I think then that's when they put Keith Ellison on it, and the charge went up a little more to second degree, because I think it was at third degree, I believe, at first, and then they put it up to second degree. So, you know, that was like the timeline of what went down. So, you know, like I said, it's rare for police even to get charged, let alone convicted. So, you know, I understand the sentiment. I understand where a lot of people are coming from. But like I said, it's an ultimate statement on Black people's position in this country and what we're dealing with. That it took all of this hell. It took a whole summer of raising hell. It took the whole world to raise hell. Not only for him to be be convicted, but before you get to that, look at the jury. When have you seen a case where they put this many Black people on the jury, and most of whom were Black men? It was 3 Black men on that jury. Why isn't that always the case when you have in major cities when stuff goes down and they have a jury? Most metropolitan areas are predominantly Black. But in a lot of juries, you see overwhelmingly white people. And they claim, oh, well, Black people don't want to do the jury thing. Nah, it's been all kind of data that's come out to debunk a lot of those things. They don't target Black jurors as much, let's be real. But in this case, they made more of an effort to do so. And I believe that helped to change the dynamics too. You had 3 Black men and 1 Black woman. So you had 4 Black people on the jury. You had 2 mixed race people, and then what was it? Was it 4 white people? Something like that. Or 6, maybe it was 6 white people. I'm sorry. 4 Black people, and then 2, they said multiracial people on the jury. Whatever that means, because you know, what that means to us is one thing, it might mean something different to them. But whatever the case, it was noted that there were 3 Black men as jurors and 1 Black woman. So representation, as they say, matters. Representation matters. So this had caught fire, like I said, all over the world, and that put more pressure on things to go a little bit of a different way, a little bit. So, you know, we gotta stop, you know, accepting the scraps. And this is a scrap. This is a scrap. Because people keep trying to act like this means something for the larger system. They try to act like this means something now, like America. I've seen people saying, America turned a page. Huh? America took steps forward. Huh? Where? Where do you see that at? He gonna do about 10 years in prison. Where do you see that at? This is a bunch of humanist talk from, you know, the Kumbaya Black people, from Black Lives Matter, Becky and Brad. That's what this is. Like, okay, Negroes, go back to your corners now, and you Negroes go on back and, you know, go back on doing what you're doing. Everything's good now. No, it's not. No, the hell it's not. And see, you know, sometimes that's what happens is they'll throw you a bone, right? To just subdue you again. They'll throw you a bone, so you just go right back into position. And then the next situation happen again, and everybody go off, and everybody this and that. See, until you get real legislation passed, until you get that qualified immunity snatched, until you get where people can sue these officers and bankrupt their ass, until you can start having things like that really take place, it's gonna be the same old two-step. It's gonna be the same old two-step. You think that because they locked up D.A.B.A.T.E, Chauvin, that changes the dynamics in these law enforcement agencies across this country? When it is well known, well documented how rampant white supremacist organizations are in law enforcement, and that's just the people that's organized. We're not even talking about just your everyday garden variety racist white person. So you think all of that is gone because they found D.A.B.A.T.E Chauvin guilty? Because he gonna do 9-10 years in prison? You think that means something? That doesn't change anything. If anything, they gonna turn up more. Because like I said, they pissed right now. Like Psycho said, they've been holding too many L's out here lately. What they feel is an L. Because see, they want to be able to do whatever they want to black people and can't nobody say nothing. So if they're not able to do that, it's an L to them. Because no matter what they tell you, black people are still beneath them. And that's how they see you when they roll up on you and they whoop, whoop, pull you over, when they do whatever. When they do whatever. So until you get real legislation on the table, till you get the mandatory, federally mandatory body cams and audio, qualified immunity revoked, snatched, bankrupting police officers. When you get all of these things into play, that's the only time you will see some change. That's the only time. As long as you keep pushing this morality thing and stop killing us. Stop killing my people. We just like y'all. We're just like y'all. We're human beings. What? Don't nobody give a damn about what you talking about. You gotta get people where it hurts. You gotta get them to where I ain't worried about changing no damn white people's mind. I ain't worried about changing no white officers' mind. Who gives a damn? But you better know it, that if you make a move, you gonna be in the damn poorhouse. You better know it. It better be worth it. It better be worth it. It better be worth it for you to have to get a life sentence for real. It better be worth it. You seen what happened in the Walter Scott situation, how easy it was for that police officer when he thought wasn't nobody recording him to be able to take his taser and try to put it down next to him. He shot that man in the back 5 times and gonna put his taser down next to Walter Scott. Like this man got his taser and was trying to shoot him with it. They've been doing that for ages and somebody doing it right now as we on this stream. So this morality thing means nothing. This kumbaya humanist thing means nothing. Get them where it hurts. Get them where it's going to have to be worth it to you. It better be worth it to you. So, you know, and just to wrap this up before we get into this story with the young girl, Ma'Khia Bryant, because, yeah, we got to get into that. But, you know, yeah, y'all, we got to, and then I watched this press conference. Oh, they had Al Sharpton and Benjamin Crump and these other people or whatever. And they were sitting up there acting like this was a damn award show. I thought it was the damn BET Awards or the BET Hip Hop Awards. They were sitting up there talking about, yeah, and shout out to so-and-so, and yeah, so-and-so, yeah, let's give them a round of applause, y'all. Let's put our hand. What? I was like, what the TV info. What am I watching? I mean, they was just rejoicing and having a good old time. Like, what? Like, again, I get it. Because, they had to take his ass out of handcuffs. I get it. In terms of this man lost his life. He ain't never coming back. He won't ever be able to see his daughter. I get it. But damn, y'all. Really? This ain't an award show. This is serious business. And it's just like how quickly we lose sight of what's really real and what's going on. I will say one thing, Maxine Waters, I've seen it, and I do agree with this one statement. She said, I'm not happy about the verdict. I'm not celebrating the verdict or something like that. She said, I'm not happy about it. I'm relieved. And I understand that sentiment. Like, he needs to be in prison. No question about it. He needs to be under the prison. He needs to be on death row. And if found guilty, you need to have what happened since George Floyd didn't die from Derek Chauvin's knee. Then now, since you've been found guilty, let's have somebody your size, your weight, lean on your neck for 9 minutes, and let's see if you make it. While you're handcuffed face down on the ground, let's see what happens. Since it was George Floyd's heart, and it was George Floyd having meth and fentanyl in his system that killed him, not your knee. Let's try that on you now that you've been found guilty. But yeah, so, and we can't let this turn into a symbolic victory. We can't. And a lot of times, we talk about that all the time on this show about, these symbolic victories and these types of things that don't really yield anything that is tangible, anything that can be sustained. And to me, that will be, aside from his family, right? So I'm saying for the larger Black community, I understand what this means for his family, for his daughter, for his brothers. I get that part, that, hey, this bastard needs to be in prison. But for the larger Black community, let's not let this just become another symbolic, quote unquote, victory. Like, that's why I'm saying the bill that they have, the George Floyd bill and all of those other sorts of things, that's where the mantle needs to be picked up. That's where the energy and passion, that's what it needs to go behind. So that we make sure that those types of things become instituted. And that's far easier said than done. Because when you're going up against these police unions, you're going up against a lot of this money and a lot of these things. And that's why so many of these types of bills or whatever, they fall flat, because there's so much money and support on the other side. And that's why I'm saying, while people sitting up rejoicing, aside from his family, Black people need to get to business on this kind of stuff. So, that's just what I wanted to say about the George Floyd verdict and or the Derek Chauvin verdict and killing George Floyd. And why we need to stop just accepting this bare minimum, these scraps, a scrap here or there, throwing a bone. We got to stop with that. Like, we got to stop. So yeah, I'm sorry, I just had to go in on that part. But yeah, now we're gonna get into another story that came out on Tuesday, the day of the verdict, and this happened in Ohio. And since then, it's really blown up. It's a lot of conversations are being had, and it's about the 16, and I'm sorry, on the thumbnail I think I put 15, but I think she's actually 16, about the 16-year-old girl, Ma'Khia Bryant, who was recently shot and killed by police on Tuesday. So Yeah, we're gonna get into that story. But Psycho, did you want to say anything? And did you had the video for that?
Yeah. Well, as y'all know, this, as you should know, unless you was on a rock, after the verdict came down, right around the same time, I believe it was after the verdict came down, a sister by the name Michaela Bryant, I believe I'm pronouncing it right, Michaela Bryant. Micaiah. Okay, Micaiah Bryant. She got shot by the police, right? Now, it was a very frantic situation, and a lot of people are picking this body cam footage apart because they do have the body cam footage out there. But no, most people have seen it. For those that didn't see it, I guess we can go ahead and break it down real quick. All right, so let's get to this footage real quick, family. So let's go. All right. That was a real quick version right there. That's what happened. Now let's bring it back. As you can see, the cop came out of the car, right? He got called. There was a commotion going on, and he was responding to a phone call, right? Now, he don't know what's going on. He don't know who called who, right? So he starts approaching. He sees a lot of commotion, people fighting, everything else. He immediately whips out his gun, right? Now, I want y'all to peek that. Let's bring that back a little bit more, right? These people are fighting, right? Punches are being thrown, right? Boom. Old girl falls, right? He whips out his gun immediately. Now, I need to ask, up to this point, fuck everything else, up to this point, why is the gun out? First, he's not trying to stop things, anything else. He's not talking, any of that. He ain't whip out his taser. No, he immediately reached for the gun. Right? Bring it back a little bit more. Let's go one more again. He walks up. He's trying to find out. Boom. People fighting. And then, boom, he whips out the gun. Right? Now, the Michaela chick is up there approaching another girl that was already there. Now, the girl that she approached in pink, I gotta bring it back a little bit more. All right? Because I gotta show y'all. There go the girl in pink right there that she eventually ends up approaching. Now, the girl in pink right there, she's just calm. She's looking calm. She's approaching the cop, talking to her and everything else. And then this skirmish breaks out. Right? Then he whips out the gun. And then old boy kicks her. We're going to get into that too. Some dude kicks her. Now, Michaela approaches the girl that just went up to the cops, had her arm up with a knife in her hand, and then the cop shoots first and then asks questions later. Now, I'm not going to play the rest of this because it's kind of graphic. They approach her. She's sprawled out and everything else, and, she's leaking. And, the cop is standing there looking confused, like he don't know what's going on. And again, I have to point out, he immediately went for his gun. I want y'all to remember that, because we're going to get into that. All right? Now I'm gonna go ahead and pass it to Renee so she can get a little bit deeper. So go ahead, Renee. I'm gonna go ahead and pass it back to you now, and then we can go back into that, breaking down that footage in a minute.
All right. So I'm gonna read out this article. This comes from the Columbus Dispatch. No opportunity to de-escalate. Use of force experts say Columbus officer obeyed training in shooting Ma'Khia Bryant. An Ohio criminal justice professor who studies the fatal use of force by law enforcement officers didn't hesitate to render an opinion after watching body camera video of a Columbus police officer fatally shooting a 16-year-old Tuesday afternoon on the city's southeast side. My first impression is that the officer was legally justified in using deadly force, said Philip Stinson, a Bowling Green State University professor who has compiled nationwide statistics on fatal shootings that have led to criminal charges against officers. Ma'Khia Bryant, that was a part of the article I didn't need to read. It's a terribly tragic situation, and my heart goes out to the girl and her family and friends, he told the Dispatch Wednesday. But from looking at the video, it appears to me that a reasonable police officer, there's that term, they kept using that in the George Floyd trial, that a reasonable police officer would have had a reasonable apprehension of an imminent threat of serious bodily injury or death being imposed against an officer or someone else. That's the legal standard. Body cam video shows an attempted stabbing before shooting. The body camera video, which the city first showed during a news conference late Tuesday night, captured the perspective of Officer Nicholas Reardon, who shot Ma'Khia Bryant seconds after he arrived outside a home on the 3100 block of Legion Lane on a report of an attempted stabbing. The video shows Bryant, who is holding a knife, push a female who was falling down backward at the officer's feet, then turn and charge at another female dressed in a pink outfit. The female in pink is pinned against a car in the driveway, while Bryant appears to swing the knife at her, prompting Reardon to fire what sounds like 4 shots. James Scanlon, a retired Columbus Division of Police SWAT officer who spent 33 years with the division, has since trained officers and served as an expert witness at trials and use of force cases, agreed with Stinson's assessment of the video. And of course he did. An officer is justified in using deadly force if his life or the life of someone else is at risk, Scanlon said Wednesday. Few would argue that there weren't at least 2 lives there that were at serious risk. In this case, Scanlon said Reardon wasn't trying to protect himself, but to save the life of someone he doesn't even know. It's a shame that no one has recognized that officer in all likelihood saved 1 or more lives. Interesting.
That's it.
The legal standard by which an officer's use of force must be measured was established by the U.S. Supreme Court in the Graham versus Connor decision. The ruling, issued in 1989, gives police officers significant leeway in the use of deadly force when they perceive that a person poses an imminent threat to officers or others and limits the second guessing of that decision. The ruling requires that an officer's actions be, quote, judged from the perspective of a reasonable officer on the scene rather than with the 2020 vision of hindsight. Any elevation of an officer's action must include, quote, allowance for the fact that police officers are often forced to make split-second judgments in circumstances that are tense, uncertain, and rapidly evolving, the court found. Stinson said Tuesday's shooting is, quote, a good reminder that officers sometimes have to make split-second life or death decisions in violent street encounters. I want y'all to hang on to that. I'm almost done with this article. Let me read that again. Stinson said Tuesday's shooting is, quote, a good reminder that officers sometimes have to make split-second life or death decisions in violent street encounters. These situations can escalate in a matter of milliseconds, as we saw here. Although such shootings inevitably generate questions from the public about why an officer didn't use the escalation techniques or deploy a taser or shoot the person in the leg, none of those options appear to be available to the officer. Both experts agreed. I don't know what the officer could have done differently, Spencer said. Based on what I saw, there was no opportunity for the officer to de-escalate. Scanlon said use of a taser isn't an appropriate response, quote, to a lethal force situation. And police are trained to target only one thing when they shoot to protect themselves or others. Quote, center mass of the person they're trying to stop. Officers are trained, quote, to shoot until the threat is neutralized, he said. Scanlon said the body camera footage is a textbook scenario that an officer would see in a film during a shoot, don't shoot training exercise. That's exactly the kind of film you see in training rooms where you have to react to a deadly situation. Spencer said officers, quote, are trained and they're retrained in use of force situations. One problem we see is officers who react in ways that are inconsistent with their training. I did not see that in the video. In this situation, inaction by the officer, I believe, would likely have resulted in seriously bodily injury or death to one or more persons. There was some confusion Wednesday about whether Columbus City Council President Shannon Hardin was suggesting that the officer had options other than deadly force. In a written statement issued that morning, Hardin responded to the shooting by advocating change in the city's training and hiring process. We must push for a new culture in Columbus where guns are not the final answer to every threat. I agree with that, and must implement a new vision of safety in Columbus. Based on that remark, Columbus Mayor Andrew J. Ginther was asked at an afternoon news conference if the officer should have handled Tuesday's confrontation differently. A lot of other reforms and efforts that should be involved will help, the mayor said. I don't know if any of those things would have resulted in a different outcome based on what we've seen in this footage, but we won't know until this investigation is finished. It's the last couple lines, y'all. The council's chief of staff, Michael S. Brown, said late Wednesday afternoon that Hardin's statement had been misinterpreted. Hardin was referring to a culture of gun violence in our society as a whole, not about police officers using guns as an answer to every threat, whatever. Brown said, it's not about this one case. Okay, so that's it. The article, yes.
Okay, you mind if I open real quick?
You gonna go before I read the? Okay, yeah.
You want to read the second article first? Yeah, read the second article first. Then I'm gonna go in.
Yeah, y'all, Psycho ready, y'all. He ready to go in, y'all. Okay, so I'm gonna do this little fact check. I'm not gonna read everything, but I'm gonna hit on a couple of points. This was just, I guess, things people didn't know, I didn't know, or whatever. So we have more information out there. So this comes from USA Today. Fact check. Ma'Khia Bryant was holding a knife when shot by police. The claim is that the knife was on the ground and away from her when Ma'Khia Bryant was shot by police. As America watched a Minneapolis courthouse awaiting a verdict in a Derek Chauvin trial, a new but familiar story broke in Ohio. A police shooting had left a Black person dead, sparking immediate protests. A confrontation outside a Columbus, Ohio foster home left 16-year-old Ma'Khia Bryant dead. This occurred before a jury found Chauvin, the former Minneapolis police officer, guilty of 3 charges for kneeling on the neck of George Floyd until he died. The Washington Post reported that just after the incident, 60 protesters had gathered at the scene of the shooting, while 100 more gathered in downtown Columbus and marched in front of several municipal buildings. Many social media posts have associated Bryant's killing with the murder of Floyd, and several prominent figures have spoken in outrage about the shootings. Despite the limited information available on the Bryant shooting, many presented details of what purportedly happened. On one such claim, a Facebook post made 6 hours after the shooting and shared over 3,000 times so far presents this narrative. As the George Floyd verdict was being announced, Columbus, Ohio police killed 15-year-old Ma'Khia Bryant. She called the police as she was about to get jumped. She had a knife in her hand for self-defense, but when officers arrived, it was on the ground away from her. The officer immediately opened fire, shooting her 4 times. This description misses the mark on several points, most notably in the claim that she was not holding the knife. Police body camera video shows otherwise. The user cannot be reached for comment. Details of the shooting. So at 4:44 p.m. Eastern Time is when the police arrived at the Foster home. Responding to a caller who reported women were attempting to stab them and, quote, put their hands on them roughly 15 minutes earlier. The original 911 caller did not mention what weapons were at the scene. Columbus Interim Police Chief Michael Woods said in a press conference that night. Woods also released body cam footage. Immediately after the officer exits his car, the footage shows Ma'Khia chasing and then pushing one teenager to the ground and attempting to attack her. The officer yells, "Hey, get down, get down." Seconds later, Bryant lunges at another young woman who was pressed up against a car. The video shows a knife in Bryant's right hand as she swings it toward the other girl. The officer then fires 4 shots. The knife falls from Bryant's hand and clatters to the ground as she collapses. 2 minutes after police arrived, Columbus Fire Department medics were dispatched. Bryant was pronounced dead at a local hospital at 5:21 p.m., the Columbus Dispatch reported. Columbus Mayor Andrew Ginther called it a tragic day. Many celebrities have spoken out about the police actions. We're going to get into LeBron James a little bit later. All right, so here's the part. Confusion around the details. But some details of what happened remain murky and in some cases disputed. The Facebook post examined here, as well as several others, misstate the victim's name and age. The victim was 16-year-old Ma'Khia Bryant, as Franklin County Children's Services, which had custody of the teenager, later confirmed to the Columbus Dispatch. The shooting took place outside the foster home where Bryant resided. The user's confusion may stem from an account of the event given by Bryant's aunt, Hazel Bryant. Before body camera footage was released to the press, outlets like the Columbus Dispatch in the week quoted Hazel Bryant as saying her niece was 15 and dropped the knife before police fired. In addition, Bryant's mother and another family member told CBS Columbus affiliate WBNS TV that evening that it was Ma'Khia who had called the police and that she was acting in self-defense. But the police have not yet said who made the initial 911 call. During the press conference, Woods said after the Bureau of Criminal Investigation concludes the investigation, the Division of Police will conduct an administrative review of all police present at the scene. Our rating, false. We rate the claim Bryant was not holding a knife when she was shot by police, false, because it is not supported by our research. Body cam footage released by police show the teen was confronting another girl and wielding the knife as shots were fired. Okay, so there you have it. And Psycho, you got the floor.
Yeah. So now y'all know what's known about the backdrop of the story and everything else. And, let me explain some things, right? When I first heard this story, I heard a whole bunch of wild shit. Motherfuckers was misreporting this. Motherfuckers said she was stabbing her mother to death. And that's why the cop shot her, which is bullshit. Her mother was not there being stabbed. So that's bullshit, right? But for all this stabbing that was allegedly supposed to be going on with this knife that she had, and it's supposed to be going on for at least 15 minutes, according to the alleged phone call to 911, I ain't see no blood out there until after she got shot. That's when I saw motherfucking blood out there. If she had that knife for 15 minutes, she's not going to wait for the police to come and start stabbing motherfuckers. That don't even make fucking sense. That's one. If she was stabbing everybody up, where the fuck is the blood? Y'all gotta show me the blood, right? She pushed the girl down with a knife in her hand. She did not stab her. That girl didn't have no blood coming out of her. Worst thing that girl caught was a foot to the fucking face from a fucking dude. That's the worst thing that first girl caught. Let's get that clear. Right? Now, another thing I want to point out. Right? And this is crucial. This is crucial. Right? Because Negroes really ain't thinking when they talking about this. I gotta go back to the clip real quick. I go back to the clip to show motherfuckers something. Right? Boom, pushed her down. Again, where's the blood? Where's the blood? No blood. Right? About to get kicked. Boom, kicked in the face. Now let me ask y'all a question. Let's freeze frame this right here for the people that think this was a good decision. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, family, but when you're an officer of the law, last time I checked, you are not supposed to shoot your firearm when innocent people are in harm's way. For the people that think it was a good idea for him to shoot her with a gun, let me ask you a question. What if he missed? What if that shot would have went slightly, a little bit more to the right? And he ended up popping old girl in the pink. None of you Negroes are thinking about that, are you? Because that could have happened. She could have easily got popped right there. He wasn't thinking about that girl in the pink's life like y'all talking. Like y'all trying to present, because he really gave a fuck about her life. He wouldn't have put her in danger by shooting multiple times with her right there. Right? Now that's for the motherfuckers who want to, pull that card. He should have shot her. No, he shouldn't have. No, he shouldn't have. Not with no gun. Not with no motherfucking gun. We all know that shit wouldn't have happened if that was a motherfucking white girl running up on another white girl. That shit wouldn't happen. Motherfuckers don't ever want to talk about that real shit. I'm on a panel with a bunch of motherfucking coons and Europeans trying to convince. First, they tried to convince Renee that somehow or another they're just as vulnerable to getting abused by the police as she is. Well, Renee was like, that's bullshit. And it is. They sit up there and try to buck up on her and talk all this crazy shit. Oh, this is bullshit. Oh, you don't know, da-da-da-da. Man, I jumped my ass on the pedal. Was like, y'all know what the fuck y'all are y'all shitting me? Are y'all trying to say, like, they literally was denying white privilege. Denying white privilege exists, especially with these pigs. I said, you motherfuckers gonna stop playing with me. So I had to show these motherfuckers. I went and dropped a link in the chat and was like, you motherfuckers, click on this, you Weegros. You Weegros and coons. Coons and Weegros. Click on this link, watch this, and then come back and tell me white privilege don't exist. Scream at me.
Oh shit, that's a white boy. He's finna reverse on the cops. He finna...
Yeah, bitch, I wanna play. Okay, guys. I wanna play. Okay, guys. I got y'all motherfuckers, bitch. Y'all just bitches. Matter of fact, y'all wanna break
this
that
nigga
bitch?
getting out
Y'all wanna
the
break
car.
that huh? Y'all wanna break that shit? I got you, bitch. This bitch right here, break that shit.
Look, he's walking up on him and everything. Look at that.
Don't be like that. Get out of my face now. Get out of my face.
He's spitting everything.
Get out of my face and get in the car. One more warning, you're going to jail. I'm tired of this. Get in. Get in, let's go. Get in the car and go. I'm motherfucking head, bitch. Spit on me one more time.
Spit on him and everything.
Get in the car. Get in the car. Get in the car. Push me, bitch. Bitch, I got you, homie. I got you.
Wow.
You see this shit? You see this shit?
I see it.
Go, bitch, go.
White privilege.
Go.
White privilege.
Yeah. Yeah, now y'all tell me what would have happened if that person was black. Right? So, motherfucker, y'all gonna stop playing that white privilege shit, don't matter. Oh, I know what y'all thinking. What Psycho? She had a knife. Psycho. She was gonna kill that woman, even though she didn't kill him 15 minutes before the cops got there. And she was gonna wait till the cops got there, then she was gonna kill him. Right, okay, all right, we can roll with that. We're gonna pretend like she was serious and she wasn't just pump faking. Okay, we can roll with that, and that's why the cops were justified. Right, and that just happens, right? That's what they always do when somebody got a deadly weapon, right? Right. Okay, well, let's get into it.
911.
Hi, I just wanted to report that I was driving down Court Street and I saw a Caucasian man with white hair and pajama pants walking with what looks like an AK-47.
911, where's your emergency? Yes, I'd like to report something. There's an elderly man walking down the street with it looks like to be an assault rifle. I don't know if it's a BB gun, a pellet gun, or whatnot, but I mean, he's older, he's an elderly man, and I just want to make sure everything's going to be all right.
Sir, he just has it over his shoulder. He doesn't have it in his hands or pointing it at anybody or anything like that.
He's not pointing it. It's up on his shoulder, facing the sky, but there's no sling to it.
Yeah.
He does appear to be intoxicated. He's stumbling around a little bit, kind of bumping into some stuff.
Okay. And last you saw him was right in front of the Dairy Queen?
Yes, I'm watching right now, just down the street. He's directly in front of the Dairy Queen.
I can have somebody block down Court Street from the east and the west, please.
Hey, partner, how you doing?
We're on Fire Channel. Do you have traffic?
Can you set that down real quick and talk to me? Okay. Well, you can't cross the street like that. Yes, you are being detained right now. You're crossing the street illegally. Place the weapon down on the ground, please. Place the weapon down on the ground. Alright, it sounds like he won't put the gun down. I caught him crossing the street illegally. Place the weapon down on the ground, please. Place the weapon down on the ground.
I want y'all to pay attention how nice these cops are. They sit here talking to him like, excuse me, sir, can you put the gun down, please, and come over here and talk to me? The motherfucker just standing in the street, just pointing the motherfucking AK. And just chilling. They called police, and he was pointing it at people and everything else. He just rolling up all nice and calm, wanting to chop it up with them. I just want y'all to pay attention. Let's keep going.
Look, you crossed the street illegally. I just want to talk to you. You're walking around here scaring people, man. I understand your rights, and I'm not trying to violate your rights. Okay, but you're crossing the street. My You have no ID on you whatsoever. Why are you carrying around a weapon without any identification? Well, you have the right, but you can't cross the street like that. I need you to put the gun down before I talk to you about that. You're being aggressive towards me. Sir, can you take your car and drive over there, please? You have committed a crime. You're jaywalking. Okay. Right. What's your name, bud? What's that? Joe Schmo? Okay. You know you're required to identify yourself if I have identified you committing a crime. Okay. You jaywalk. 1612. Okay. We don't need to go this route, man. I'm not coming near you with a rifle shouldered on you. No, you're not free to go. Right now you're committing a crime of resisting and obstructing. So now you've stepped up to a misdemeanor crime. I don't want to shoot you. I'm not here to do that. I'm not here to do that, man.
Y'all hear this motherfucker talking shit to the cops? He talking shit. He like, what's your name? That motherfucker like Joe Smo. Motherfucker told him his name is Joe Smo. I go fuck yourself. Yeah, motherfucker, he talking shit. He like, yeah, fuck yourself. I got this AK. I got some hot shit for your ass. Get the fuck out of here. Let's continue, though. Let's continue. It gets better.
Right. 46. I have a reason to identify him. Providing you with his name. He's swearing at me. He still has the right to write it.
Bryant's clearing it. I still have code 10.
We're in front of the auto zone.
Get in front of the auto zone.
Folks, I need you all to go inside. If that gun is live and he starts firing, everybody's at risk. Thank you. What? And that's not helping your case any. Have you been drinking today? Okay. Well, then why are we acting like that? We've been using drugs? Okay, well then why are we acting like that? Why are we acting like that? Why are you so angry? Why are you cursing at me? Okay, I'm not here to fight a revolution. I'm here to protect the citizens of the city. That's it.
Lincoln 3 Skipper.
You can't, unfortunately, we're beyond that point, sir. We're beyond that point.
Disregard if you ever use moving in position.
Okay. Well, what do you want me to do? I'm asking you to put the gun down and be reasonable. That's all I'm asking. We've been here for 5 minutes, and I'm asking nothing but reasonable things from you.
You got your rifle.
How am I acting like a prick? I am not in a gang. You've scared every single person in this community right now.
They're working on come up face to face.
I would like you to put your gun on the ground and we'll come talk about it. That's all I'm asking you to do, sir. That's all I'm asking you to do. What is your date of birth? Well, sir, I have a reason to get your identification now. When you crossed the street, you did so illegally. Okay. Yeah, but I can't do that without your name. So I have a reason to ask for your name now. That has nothing to do with the gun. But I will not approach you with that gun shouldered with your hostility towards me. That's not going to happen. I am not going to die because you're angry with me. That is not going to happen today. Put the gun down on the ground and I will talk to you like a man. You are not free to go. No, sir. You are not free to go.
Slow down from the airport through next auto zone.
But just put the gun down so we can talk about that. Why do we have to act like that? What is our problem?
Apartment 113.
I'm not acting. I'm responding to a call. 3 people called because you're marching around with this gun on your shoulder. Scaring the bejesus out of everybody. And then you cross the street right in front of me improperly. And now you want to curse and yell at me, and I haven't even said word one to you. You started cursing at me right away.
Probably an open carry situation where the subject is not complying with lawful commands.
So, we established the fact that I have a reason to detain you. You are being detained, right? So you know, based on your studying of this open carry law, that if I have, listen to me. If I have a reason to detain you, that you need to follow my lawful orders. Is that correct? Sir, do you understand that you need to follow my lawful orders? And I'm giving you a lawful order to put the gun down and identify yourself. And you are not following that for what reason? Okay. You are resisting and obstructing at this moment.
Peter, is this the guy that you guys deal with?
You are resisting and obstructing at this moment. Do you understand?
He'll expose his name. And it's his fucking right to do what he's doing. Fuck you, grabbing his, he ain't going home. Do whatever he needs to do. He won't take nothing. Okay, where we're at. Only has to be advised, this is the open carry subject. He's obviously considered dangerous. Skipper is the only one that's used force, and that's on my direction. We're going to acknowledge that.
No, sir, not yet. Can I talk to you for a second?
So he's doing the march in front of people. He sees me. He gets on the road. He crosses. The angle like parts of them. A couple of them had to slow down. Not him. Gets to there. I make contact with him. And he just begins. So I identify him with,
okay.
My name is Joshua. I got two here. Working gloves in place. He's speaking with the subject. Subject's agitated. He is exercising his open carry rights. However, he is certainly overextended them at this point. I'm the other time he's withdrawn. If I walk up there and try to talk to this guy, that's going to be against every fucking bone in my body. What we should do, although I trusted John to shoot his ass. Alright, John, I'm going to walk across. And he's agreeing to not touch the rifle. Roger? John, nod your head, yes?
Did y'all just see that fuck shit? Did y'all just see that fuck shit? That pig walked up to that motherfucker, grabbed his gun, unloaded it, and then set it back down, and now he's about to go over here and talk to this motherfucker. They didn't after he grabbed the gun, they didn't bull rush him. They didn't put a knee on his throat for 9 minutes in handcuffs until he gave up his name so they could record check him. A black man only needs a counterfeit $20 bill to get a knee in his neck for 9 minutes. This motherfucker right here got none of that. I mean, none of it. I want y'all to see this shit again.
Chris, keep your camera on it. John, you can stay in place. The rest of you can clear.
Ain't that about a bitch? Ain't that about a bitch? The motherfucker sat there next to him and started started becoming his therapist. Started wanting to know ask this motherfucker what the weather is and all this other shit. Are you shitting me? Are you shitting me? But motherfuckers that tell me and Renee that white people's lives are just as much in danger around the police as black people. Right. I know, Psycho. What are you talking about, Psycho? You always bringing up old shit. That was way back in 2014. Obama was still president when that shit happened. Are you bringing up old shit? And the police don't move like that no more. They don't be handing out white privilege like that no more. They will shoot any threat to them. Today. They don't care about color. They colorblind. Right? That's what y'all saying, right? Right. Let's get into it.
Get on the fucking ground now! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the fucking ground now! Get on the ground! Put your feet, your hands on your back now! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! You have? Get on the ground! Get on the ground now!
Dude, get on the ground.
Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Watch, I'm hitting you!
Dude got a death wish.
He's chasing the taser didn't phase him.
Yeah.
He's gonna shoot him. He gonna shoot. Oh shit!
What is he on?
He's trying not to use his gun.
Did y'all see that shit? Let's bring that back real quick. For you white privilege deniers. You motherfuckers is wildin'. This motherfucker was laid down, right? Got his ass up. Do a play-by-play. Got his ass up. Got the motherfucking gun pointed at him. He told him to go fuck himself.
Dude,
he don't give a fuck about his pistol. He ain't even got a pistol. That's a taser. My bad. Correction. Taser is a taser, right? Because these motherfuckers, they don't whip out pistols on their own. With white people, they whip out the taser, right? That's what they do with white people. They whip out the taser. So he got the taser out on him. Know what I mean? Look. He tell him to go fuck himself. Fuck
Dude,
your
get
taser.
on the ground.
I don't give a fuck about you. Your electrons don't scare me. You like, fuck this, I'm getting my shit. Look. And then he pushed him down. That is an immediate sign of threat. Right? Then he tases the motherfucker. The motherfucker just muscles through that shit. The motherfucker hulked up. The motherfucker got tased. And then got on his Hulkamania shit. The motherfucker hulked up. Started shaking the turnbuckle. Know what I mean? Thinking he's a real American. There you go, he hulking up. He's shaking the turnbuckle. He chasing him down, trying to give him the big boot. So he could drop the leg.
He's chasing
the
taser didn't phase him.
A black man would have been
He's gonna
shot.
shoot him. He gonna shoot.
He would have whipped out the taser.
Shit.
The gun would have been out. He got shot with some hot shit.
He's trying not to use his gun.
No white privilege. You tell me black people.
Shoot his tires out.
White people are just as much fear of their life around the pigs as black people. Are y'all shitting me? Are y'all shitting me?
Yeah, that's helicopter. Here they come.
This is madness.
Shoot his tires out, dude. Don't let him drive.
I ain't want to watch that crap no more. This is mad. What are we talking about here, family? What are we talking about here? white privilege don't exist. Stop. Motherfuckers is nutty as fuck. When y'all say white privilege and all this other shit, stop. Now, back to the Michaelis Bryant shit. He should have whipped out a taser. She should have been tased, not shot. That is my argument. My argument is she should have got the same respect that Hulk Hogan just got in that scenario when he put hands on a fucking cop. He put hands on the cop and he got the taser. She should have got tased, not shot. That is the position I hold. Nobody was bleeding until that motherfucker pulled the fucking trigger. She should have been tased and not shot. Now I'm gonna go ahead and pass the mic to Renee because she been waiting. My bad, Renee. Go ahead.
No, you good. You're on point. And okay, let me give my, this is how I view the Ma'Khia Bryant situation. And let me say, rest in power to that young lady. She was 16 years old. She was a teenager. And sometimes when we're young, we make silly choices. And there's been a lot of girls who've gotten into it with other girls and may have pulled a little knife or whatever the case may be on them. And I'm not saying that's the right thing to do. But as being a young person, a teenager, those kinds of things do happen. It's unfortunate that it had to end the way that it did. She, was that she had some issues and things. She was in a foster home. So I don't want in this whole thing for that to get lost. That it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy on every level because it's a tragedy that she was out there having a fight with other girls, that they was having to fight each other to the point of even calling police, to the point of pulling the weapons out. So that's a tragedy in and of itself. And so I just want to recognize her. And I feel like, this happens all the time with Black people, especially with Black youth. Black youth often are treated like adults. And, you can have a Black young man or young woman, make a silly choice, make a choice that causes them dearly. And people will still try to humiliate them. People will still disrespect them. People will still have a lot of things to say and regard them like they're grown adult people. And she wasn't. So I want to recognize that first and foremost. Now let's get into it. Okay. Here's the thing. I can understand both sides of the coin. I understand some people who are having, they come from a position that she had a deadly weapon and that she was going to potentially kill the girl or whatever the case may be, and that the officer basically had no choice at that time, at that moment, because of what was taking place. And so he did the right thing. Some people are also trying to see it from the position of if that was their daughter that was the one in the pink, and their daughter, a girl had a knife on their daughter, and they would want the officer to shoot. They would want the officer to do whatever it is he felt he needed to do, because a knife can kill, a knife can hurt somebody. And so I understand that position. I'm trying not to, I'm not going too hard on people that hold that position because I can understand elements of that. But I also see the other side of it, and I lean more toward that side of things. which is that, for one, Psycho made great points. He initially got out, with his gun off rip. And if it were so that somebody was really going to get stabbed up and killed with a knife, where was that at for the 15 minutes before? Because when the person, and I believe now they say that it was her sister who called, her little sister or something like that who called. And if it was already said, as it was, that somebody was trying to stab somebody, then there was already a knife in the mix. So that was denoted when the person called the police. Yet nobody had been cut or anything. Sometimes when people, especially young people, they might pull out a knife, they're really not trying to necessarily kill or cut somebody or whatever. It's more so like, leave me alone, type of situation. And I'm not saying that she wasn't potentially going to stab the girl or cut the girl or even cut an artery or something where she could have bled out. I'm not saying that those things could not have happened. Okay. But I'm just saying that if it were so that she was so hell-bent, or whoever was so hell-bent on stabbing somebody, where was the stabbing at? Where was the blood at? Because even in terms of her having a knife and the officer then being on the scene, she still dropped the knife when she was shot and hadn't cut the girl yet, hadn't stabbed the girl yet. It only takes an instant. If you're gonna just stab her or cut her, I would think you would have cut her. I felt like she was maybe holding the knife, gonna hold the knife to her and talk stuff to her or something like that, versus her just cutting and stabbing and killing the girl right there in front of the police and all of that. I feel like, and just from my position, and this is my opinion, I'm not saying I know this for facts or anything, but that's my opinion on this, is that she was not going to try to actually stab or kill the girl, let alone do it right in front of the police when you hadn't done it before the police got there, and we already know it was a knife in the mix because of the 911 call. So I think it was more so of a thing of being threatening, more so than it was a thing of actually intending to stab or kill somebody. And unfortunately, it led to her demise, because the excuse is just going to be that deadly force was needed because there was a deadly weapon potentially about to be used. There was a deadly weapon and somebody being threatened with that. So there's the need for deadly force, and it was what it was. But, I just feel like in a lot of situations, a lot of times police are far too eager to shoot and kill Black people. It was also denoted that these were young girls or teenage girls before the officer got there and things like that. And I just feel like if these were teenage white girls, it may have been handled a little bit differently. That there would have been potentially a taser used. We got taser. There would have been, there would have been other things done. There wouldn't have been off rip, pop, 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 pop. It wouldn't have been off rip.
Multiple times.
Yeah,
you letting off all those bullets with that girl in the pink right there too? That you putting her life in danger. Like, my bad, I'm sorry. That's just
yeah, it wouldn't have been pop, 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 pop off rip. And like Psycho said, you got other innocent girls in the mix, and like I said, I don't necessarily think, and again, it's my opinion, that she was going to just cut up, stab up, kill the girl right there in front of the police. I think it was more of a threatening thing. It was more of a threatening thing, a threat to her. Like, yeah, I would have stabbed you. I will kill you right now. I'll stab you right now. But not actually doing it, not actually taking those steps. But again, he shot. So I feel like the situation would have been different if it was some white teenage girls. Yeah, I do feel like that. I do. And then another question I have about the situation is, You know, in the article, you know, they're trained in this way, and they're trained to neutralize the target and right? But he shot 4 times. He definitely shot to kill. And if you know, first of all, these were teenage girls. This girl's got this little knife. Aren't all of those things in play in your head, and you not just let off 4 shots into her body? Is there not an ability to give a warning shot? Is there not an ability to even shoot her once? Is there not some other ability than to just go and pop, 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 pop? Off rip. I just don't see that like that. And everybody want to make these kind of situations cut and dry, but they're really not, because the police, like Psycho was showing, the police can pick and choose when they want to. They can pick and choose how to address certain people when they want to address them. When people have deadly weapons, when people are in the midst of holding somebody hostage or possibly going to shoot or kill somebody, they have different means and methods that they use depending on the person. Let's be real about it. Let's be honest about it. And to further prove my point, Psycho was showing y'all the situation with the guy, right? So some people will say, well, he didn't have a knife to somebody like this girl had a knife to the other girl, right? Or whatever. People may come up with excuses. Okay, so then I need people to explain to me why just a few weeks ago, last month, you had somebody, a white boy in Boulder, Colorado, who went up in, I think it's called Superfoods grocery store, and killed 10 people. I think he had an AR-15 or he had a semi-automatic, whatever. He killed 10 people, one of them being a police officer, and he came out alive. He walked out.
Facts. And Kyle Rittenhouse. Let's not forget about Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah, so they can decide. They can pick and choose with whom they off rip use deadly force on. And when there are Black people, there's less consideration taken in. Let's also be clear, when the officer shot Ma'Khia Bryant, you can immediately see other officers run up. There were other officers on the scene, other people on the scene too. Like you seen them kind of, some other officers or people kind of run up to the girl. So it's like this whole thing, they're kind of basically trying to frame it as he's a hero, because now everybody's saying, oh, she was gonna kill the girl. Where do y'all get that she was gonna? I understand she had a knife. A knife can be a deadly weapon. I'm not denying any of those facts. But, you know, a lot of us adults know. We've known kids and people, when we was teenagers or whatever, people got into it, somebody pulled out a knife and stuff. People, I know it's big, like on the East Coast, people get $1.50 and stuff like. People know about these type of situations, right? But this idea that she was just gonna kill this girl and he saved the girl's life, I don't know. People pushing that. People kind of pushing that. And then I was having a conversation last night, and these people were swearing to me, it was a butcher knife. And then somebody else said, the knife was huge. It was a steak knife. It was not a butcher knife. The knife was not huge. That is a lie. That is a lie. Cut it out. And again, me saying that is not saying somebody can't die by a steak knife. But a lot of people are lying about certain elements of this story, or they're exaggerating certain elements of this story that are just not true. So it was not a butcher knife, and it was not a huge knife. It was a steak knife. Okay? Let's be clear on that. A knife was already in the mix, and nobody had been stabbed yet. Nobody had been cut. Nobody was bleeding. Nobody was dead, except for Ma'Khia.
I want to point out there's no blood on that knife too, by the way. Where's the blood at on the knife?
No.
With all this stabbing that was allegedly going on, where's the blood on the knife?
No. And I think this just kind of, it needs to be more investigated. You know, I know there's a camera footage, but we need to know more about the situation, more about things, because this also sets another precedent, right? One that's already been in the mix. Oh, if it's somebody have some kind of weapon on the scene, oh, just kill them. Oh, it was a knife present, just kill them. We got to be careful with these things, and we have to make sure that these things are properly vetted, properly investigated, and that they're assessed in the right way, because it can easily become something else in terms of Black people. And let me also say this about this particular story, right? Oh, wait, before I get to that, let me say this too. There are other countries who do not have guns, right? Their police don't carry guns. Like, I don't know if they recently started in the UK, I'm not sure, but I know for a very long time, they didn't have guns, they didn't carry guns and things like that. And they're very difficult to even get guns and stuff in like the UK or whatnot. So my thing is, how did they handle people getting stabbed or people using knives? Because people couldn't use guns. Guns are not readily available in the UK like they are in America. So people might use a knife and pull a knife on somebody or something like that. So that all of those people, if the police had to come and apprehend somebody with a knife or who pulled a knife on somebody, they didn't have no guns to just shoot and kill them. Pop, 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 off rip. So what did they do? So what did they do then? Like, how were these types of situations handled? Because everybody keeps this, she had a butcher knife, she had a huge knife pulled on this girl. It's a deadly weapon. Oh, what? Okay, so what was they doing over there? Like, how were those things handled? Because since she had this steak knife on this girl, they should have pumped 4 bullets into her and killed her instantly on the spot. Okay, so what do they do elsewhere? Since that's the only alternative, a taser couldn't have been an alternative, right? A taser couldn't have stopped her because wasn't no blood on the knife yet. Nobody had been stabbed. Nobody had been cut. And this is all before the police even got there. Yeah, she had pinned, the girl had kind of fell back on the car and she kind of pinned her. And again, she might have been going to stab her, actually going to kill her, actually going to cut her. We don't know. We'll never fully know if that was her intention or she was just gonna hold it to her and threaten her. And bitch, you better be happy the police is here. Bitch, I'll kill you. Bitch, I will cut you. Right? We don't know if that just could have been what was gonna take place. Because she was wielding it, but in order for her to have dropped the knife, right? She hadn't stabbed the girl yet. She hadn't cut the girl yet. So again, we're still talking about before anybody was cut, anybody was even stabbed or touched with a knife, before any of that. And you mean to tell me it had to end in 4 shots being pumped in this 16-year-old girl? It had to be that? It could not have been a taser. It could not have been warning shots. It couldn't have been anything else. At the very least, it couldn't have been 1 shot to the girl. If she got a little knife, now they say to neutralize the target. Okay, the girl had a knife, not a gun. So you don't think shooting her 1 time would have stopped her from quote unquote stabbing or killing the girl? You don't think that would have been sufficient enough considering the circumstances? You don't think that it was, no pun intended, overkill to shoot her 4 times? So, I understand people's arguments on one behalf, one element of the story. I understand it to a degree. But see, people are all too easy to just, he was a hero, so he did the right thing, because if that was my daughter, you better kill that girl. And again, teenagers. Knife already was on the scene. Nobody had been cut yet. Nobody had been stabbed yet. There was nothing. You had to shoot this girl 4 times. You had to shoot a 16-year-old girl with a steak knife 4 times. You had to do that to say, and we're supposed to save the other girl's life. That's how this is being framed. Because typically, in cases where police kill Black people, we know what's typically said is that the police feared for their own life, right? So now we're supposed to believe that the officer shot the girl 4 times just because he was trying to save, he was being a hero and saving the other girl's life. He was saving her life. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
My bad, go ahead.
And I wanted to mention too, y'all, please understand something. The reason that this story is blowing up the way that it does is for 2 reasons. As a deflection and as an exoneration, okay? It is a deflection away from the Derek Chauvin trial, keeping our foot on their necks, on pressing up, okay, what's up with the sentences? What's up with these other 3 officers? Okay, what's going on with this bill? Okay, being about business. It's a deflection from that situation. It's look over there now, go look over there. Let's just get away from the George Floyd thing. Okay, yeah. He was found guilty, y'all. Okay, y'all gone over there. Okay, yeah. Y'all was celebrating. Yeah, it's the B.E.T. Hip Hop Awards. Okay, yeah, gone over there. And exoneration to exonerate the police, because what is being framed as is look at the harsh job that the police have. They have to, that's when I was reading the article, I was telling y'all, pay attention to a certain line in there. And it was talking about how hard the police have it in terms of making these split-second decisions and these hard life choice decisions and what to do in the moment and this, that, and the other. So this is being used as a way to exonerate police in general, so that it helps to justify some of the choices they make in killing Black people, some of the choices they make in using deadly force on us, so that because people are looking at this case saying it's open and closed. He didn't do nothing wrong. He was a hero. He had to shoot them. See, y'all always saying the police is bad. Y'all always saying the police is bad. If that was my daughter, if that was your daughter, you would want this and that. So now, because there's so much Black guilt too, a lot of Black folks that felt guilty about the George Floyd, the verdict in the trial, they want to now give white people on the back, give white police a pat on the back, and you guys do a hard job, and he was right in what he did, and people not even really seeing. This is an exoneration of police. And we better keep our eyes open. Don't fall into that trap. This might be once, even if you're a person that feels like, you know what, he was justified in his means. That's your right to your opinion. We all have our own. But don't let that be an exoneration of the police and how they treat Black people all day, every day in this country, and the continuation of deadly force they use on us when most of the time the person does not even have a weapon. Don't let this one case where you feel like, well, she did have a weapon. She did have a girl, right there. So, okay, well, I can see where the police come from. No, and no. We have lost too many Black men, women, and children who were unarmed where it ain't even a question. It ain't even a question about a weapon. Let alone in this case, I feel that was over the top. But don't let that take you off the path, is what I'm saying. And that's why this case is being used and blown up the way that it is right now. Go ahead, Psycho. I'm sorry.
No, you was on point. You're right. And let me address this one thing real quick. This is one thing about this video too. I was going to address it before, forgot to. Yeah, this video, right? This video right here. Yeah, let's go back one more again to an important part that people kind of forgot about, right? Right here, dude right there who kicked the girl who got pushed, right? Now I seen this got, kind of hyper focused on within the, the whole, gender banging sector. They had this became highlighted, and he did kick her. I don't even know if he actually made contact, but it looked like he did. But kicked her while she was down, and I heard this was a prime example of how black men, as a collective, does not protect black women, right? And I'm hearing, a lot of these notions get tossed around, and everything else, and always find these protection conversations, interesting, because people have their own different interpretations of what protection actually is, But I'm gonna ask y'all a question because again, we got to put this in context. We don't know what happened before the cops got there. All we know, there's a report said that there was girls out there. Now, I believe they said multiple girls, right? They said multiple girls out there had knives and was trying to attack people, right? And I believe that's what the report said. I could be wrong. Somebody could correct me if I am. Now, only people I see there that are kicking ass is one girl and a dude, right? Now, my question is this. Who called the cops? Whose house was they in front of? Because, if they on their property and they up there, they came to her property starting shit, that kind of changes the scenario. You can kill a motherfucker in your own house and you won't get locked up. So I don't know who called who. I don't know whose house this is. And I don't know if these girls had fucking knives. I don't know. But I do just want to say, all we know is this little section that we saw, right? That's all we do know, right? But we don't know the nuance behind all this. But I do want to say, and I'm saying all this for a reason, right? Because I want to draw up a scenario for the people that want to talk the protection talk, right? Let's say these girls did come to the house before the cops got there. Let's say the cops was called on them. Let's say they was the girls that they actually got the cops called on, right? Let's say these girls came to the house acting crazy with Makala and her man there. And there's a whole bunch of them and they got knives and shit. And they trying to stab her. And then he kicks one of the girls. Is that not considered protection? If there are multiple girls there trying to jump her, and he kicks one of the girls that are trying to jump his shorty, is that not him protecting black women? Specifically, his black women? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Now, again, I'm not saying these girls had knives. I'm just drawing up a scenario. All right, so don't put this on me because I don't know. I'm just drawing up a scenario. Right? Because I'm going to tell y'all motherfuckers something. And it's real spit. If me and Renee are chilling And there's about 3 girls running up on Renee, trying to jump Renee in my presence. If you don't think I will put feet on one of those girls for trying to jump Renee, y'all got another thing coming. And if y'all try to gaslight me by saying I'm not being protective of black women or I'm being toxic masculinity and all that other shit, go fuck yourself. I ain't gonna sit there and watch Renee get jumped by anybody. And that includes women. I'm just saying. So when we talk this protection shit, we gotta stop looking at this through one scope. Because obviously he felt like he was protecting his girl or his cousin, his sister, because I don't know who the dude is. I don't know. That could be her cousin, that could be her brother. I don't know. I'm just drawing up a scenario just to show how this protection argument is very nuanced and people got to stop putting this shit in one particular box. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different, I made whole streams talking about this shit, dedicated to this topic. And people thought I was nuts then, but this is a prime example of what I'm talking about. What the fuck is protection exactly? Because a lot of things are considered protection, but when people talk protection, I don't know, it needs to fit their little narratives. And so let's be careful when we say he wasn't protecting black women or black women ain't protected, because that could be a prime example of black women being protected. That could be a prime example of it. So, right. You know, yep. I'm just saying. But yeah, I'll throw the bike back to Renee. I forgot that point, but my bad.
No, you're right. And I just want to add to that. I heard a lot of these same women talk about, why are y'all calling the police to help a situation? Why are y'all calling the police anyway? So wait a minute. The police come there and they shoot and kill this girl. But let's say he was there and he was trying to be a protector. And it just so happened with everything going on as the police arrived, he might have, kicked the girl. We don't know what else happened before that. And these girls trying to jump this one girl and all of this kind of stuff like that. So excuses are made, so to speak, for the police, but you can't have, the benefit of the doubt for the black man that was there. I've seen a lot of people blaming him on Facebook and on social media. I've seen people mentioning him, and people don't even know the whole story. People don't even know what all took place before any of this happened. You're judging everything by a few seconds on the video and not knowing the full circumstances. That's why I said a full investigation of the whole situation needs to come out, because I've heard different rumors here and there that, yeah, she was being jumped by these girls and that the girls was actually older and they was like, it was some grown women there too and things like that. And if that was the case, and she was being jumped by girls and jumped by older, women that was grown and everything, yeah, what would have been wrong with him, you know what I'm saying, getting in on a situation and being like, hey, you're not going to jump her. You're not going to do this and that to her. And people saying, oh, he should have been breaking it up and stuff like that. And sometimes you can't break up a bunch of girls and women getting into it, or people in general getting into it. And again, we don't know everything that took place before this happened. We don't know all the circumstances. So in this case, I didn't even hyper focus on, like Psycho said, a lot of people hyper focusing on it. I didn't even focus on that because of that very reason. We don't know what all went down. How you gonna just simply judge the kick and you don't know any other facts about it? My focus was on the fact that this girl is killed, and the police who are trained, who have different weapons at their disposal, who, are able to use certain tactics when it comes to certain other people. That was my issue, that he just pulled up and shot 4 times. That was my issue in this situation. and that there was no other means, that were used or whatever. So, people are choosing to focus on that. And again, it comes from the gender standpoint for a lot of people. Some people may genuinely mean that, like, what the hell was going on? Well, why didn't he do this or that? He was a man that was there, or, why did he kick her? Okay, cool. Some people mean that genuinely. But some of these people who are saying that, they don't mean it genuinely. They on some typical gender banger stuff, and this has to turn around some way to be against black men, a black man, black woman thing. Just like you have a lot of these dudes who are, they hate black women or whatever, and they're using this as another reason to bash black women and bash and attack black girls, and these black women ain't teaching them nothing, and see what I mean? They're animals and they're fighting, and she got a knife. So people are using this, to fit their particular narrative. The gender bangers will use it for their gender narrative. The coons and the white people will use this for their narrative of, the police are, you guys are always making the police the bad guys. He's a hero. He saved her life. They're using it for those purposes, and purposes of deflecting from Derek Chauvin. And then, people like us, real pro-black people about this, we're using this case to further highlight how it's so easy to use deadly force on black people. And yes, in this case, there was a weapon, but it's happened so easily. And people seem almost so eager to do it. And had the circumstances been different with white teenage girls, and one of them had pulled a steak knife out, it would have been a different circumstance. I think most of us can probably admit to that. Some people won't. But a lot of us can admit it may have went down a lot different. So, people gonna do what they do. But yeah, now I wanted to talk about this part in this story. Oh Lord, and this, honey, LeBron James. So now, I told you earlier how with the Derek Chauvin trial, they're at the tail end. On Monday, they tried to use Maxine Waters' comments to some protesters as a reason to have a mistrial. They tried to use her as a scapegoat. And so now here comes LeBron James. They making him an ultimate scapegoat as well. And they're making him a scapegoat essentially for Derek Chauvin, for police. They're using him as the scapegoat now and putting the focus on him. And so I'm gonna read this article to y'all from ESPN. Okay. And so this article is LeBron James explains why he deleted a tweet on police shooting of Ma'Khia Bryant. Los Angeles Lakers star LeBron James posted and later deleted a tweet on Wednesday about the fatal police shooting of Ma'Khia Bryant, a 16-year-old black girl in Columbus, Ohio. In a series of tweets, James explained why he deleted the post. Anger does any of us, I guess he means doesn't do any of us any good, and that includes myself. Gathering all the facts and educating does so. My anger still is here for what happened to that little girl. My sympathy for her family, and may justice prevail. I'm so damn tired of seeing black people killed by police. I took the tweet down because it's being used to create more hate. This isn't about one officer. It's about an entire system. That's right. And they always use our words to create more racism. I am so desperate for more accountability. The since deleted tweet by James showed a photo of Officer Nicholas Reardon, who is white, with an accompanying caption, "You're next," hashtag accountability, along with an hourglass emoji on Wednesday. Body camera footage released by the Columbus Division of Police showed the officer identified Wednesday as Reardon getting out of his car at a house where police had been dispatched after someone had called 911 saying they were being physically threatened. As the officer walks toward a group of people on the driveway, Bryant can be seen swinging a knife wildly at another girl or woman who falls backward. The officer shouts several times to get down. Bryant then charges at another girl or woman who is pinned against the car. From a few feet away, with people on either side of them, the officer fires 4 shots and Bryant slumps to the ground. The knife lies on the sidewalk next to her. Bryant was taken to a hospital where she was pronounced dead, police said. Police did not say if anyone else was injured. James's hometown of Akron, Ohio, is about 125 miles northeast from Columbus, the state capital. The Bryant shooting occurred Tuesday after a jury in Minneapolis, as we know, blah, found Chauvin guilty on 2 counts of murder and 1 count of manslaughter for the May 2020 killing of George Floyd outside of a convenience store. James responded to the Chauvin verdict with a single word: accountability. James's teammate, forward Anthony Davis, said the Lakers had yet to discuss the outcome of the Chauvin trial as a team, but he offered his personal thoughts on the outcome. I think a lot of people in the world are happy with the verdict and just being able to give that family peace and a peace of mind, Davis said Wednesday. I think that was a first step for justice. I think it was a good day just for the world to be able to get justice because you see so many times where it doesn't happen. Okay, so that's the story. Now, okay, so LeBron James, they was already mad. Let's be clear. They was already mad because I had already seen on Tuesday, you know, the news had immediately picked it up, like what different, people were saying, and he was like the first one they put up. You know, LeBron James, he tweeted out accountability and all of this other stuff, right? So they was already on the case, you know, he's shut up and dribble, you know, all of that or whatever. They already don't like him and they don't like him speaking out or whatnot. So for this situation, when he put a picture of the cop and he said, you know, your next accountability, again, he's talking about accountability. He's not talking about hurting nobody. He's not talking about any violence. The same type of thing they try to do with Maxine Waters. He said, your next hashtag accountability. Now, if he had put accountability just earlier that day, in terms of Derek Chauvin, and what was Derek Chauvin's accountability? He got convicted. He's going to prison. Why now would your next accountability all of a sudden mean something violent? Like, what? So you had the usual, right? Here comes Candace Owens. Here comes Kunette Owens, because you know, that's the only time they roll her out. It's got to be something about Black people. Listen, they don't go to Candace Owens for economic issues. Well, how's the foreign policy for the country going? What about balancing the budget in terms of the defense and the this and that and that? They don't go to her for any other, serious political issues that are not racialized. They don't go to her for none of that. They don't want her opinion. They don't give a damn. They don't care. She is there for one reason: to be a Black mouthpiece for these right-wing white supremacists. That's all. And she knows damn well, in order for her to get them coins, she better do it. She better make sure she speak out. Oh, and she couldn't wait to do it. So you had people like her, you had that other coon, the one who was eating the damn fried chicken, come out talking about LeBron James should be brought up on charges. He was threatening a police officer. He was threatening physical violence and harming of a police officer. This is what these people were saying. Because he said, your next accountability. what he had just said about Derek Chauvin accountability for getting sentenced to prison. Now all of a sudden this supposed to mean something violent? This supposed to mean somebody's supposed to attack this dude, Reardon or whatever? What? So it's a typical thing. And that's why I say, y'all, be mindful of what's going on. All of these things are deflections from George Floyd's murder. All of these things are deflections from us addressing policing in this country and what they do consistently to Black people. They are trying to use this story to deflect from that, to frame this police officer as a hero, to exonerate police and say this is why police need to use deadly forces in Black communities. They're animals, they're crazy, they have no other choice but to do it. And then you have these Black celebrities and politicians, Maxine Waters and LeBron James, and they're coming out and they're trying to amplify the Black community to commit acts of violence. They done flipped this whole thing on its head that easily. That easily. They tried to redirect this whole thing. And like I said, they use people like Candace Owens to do it. They use these coons out here to do it. They use other Black people to do it. Have your opinion, have your stance on the Ma'Khia Bryant situation and her being killed. Have your view, your own personal view. But again, don't let that take your eyes off the prize. Don't let that take away from us being focused on law enforcement and what the police do in this country to Black people every day and what they've been doing. You don't get exonerated because this girl had a steak knife. You don't get exonerated as a whole. I'm talking about as a whole, because they love to talk about Black people as a whole, right? So as a whole, police do not get exonerated for this. Hell no. And these coons like Candace, why are these people even allowed to be out there? We should be shutting them down at every turn. At every turn. And I see so many Black people who share her video, her little videos, who share posts from her, who say something, she's right on this. She was right on that. This woman intentionally set out to run a campaign on George Floyd to make his character look as horrible as possible, when his death had nothing to do with anything other than Derek Chauvin leaning on his damn neck for 9 minutes. If he had a counterfeit $20 bill, then let the court sort it out. Let him actually be able to go to court or actually dispute what happened, if he knew it was, if he didn't know, where he got it from, whatever. Let him be able to handle that in court. Why is he dead behind that? What for? What? That's not justified. I don't give a damn what his past criminal record was, and I don't give a damn if it was a counterfeit $20 bill. But this woman set out to make him look as bad as possible, again, to deflect from the intentional cruelty and brutality of Derek Chauvin and the Minneapolis Police Department and what they did to George Floyd. In terms of after it happened, they tried to mischaracterize it totally as something else. They lied. They didn't want to file any charges. And she caked for them the whole time. So that all these people's running around, he had went to prison, he had did this, and he had committed this crime, and why is it we glorify, we make martyrs of the worst people in our community? What? That don't have nothing to do with anything. has nothing to do with him leaning on his neck for nothing to do with them 9 minutes. The police are not judge, jury, and executioner. You have the right for your case to be heard in a court of law. And in George Floyd's situation, there was no weapon at all. There was not even a steak knife. So I'm sick of that heifer. I'm sick of Candace Owens. I'm sick of black people propping her up. Why the hell are you propping up a coon that denigrates black people every opportunity she can to get a pat on the head from white mommy and white daddy? That is her sole purpose. She don't even have a black family. Why in the hell are you talking about black people? You made your choice. You with your white man. Stay over there with them. You don't have no business over here no more. You don't have no black child. You don't have no black family. You don't give a damn about black people. Everything you do is to uphold white people, and it's to be a part of them. And since Trump lost, right? Since Trump lost, she got to get her grift on. She still got to see what she can do to get some coins coming in. Just like she picked a fight with Cardi B to sell her book. With Retarded B, she picked a fight with Retarded B to further sell her book. And Trump lost, she got to let these white conservatives know, hey, guys, whoever's going to run in 2024 or whatever, it's going to, hey, guys, remember, I'm over here. I'm your black bulldog. I'm your mammy. Talk about a mammy mule. Talk about a mammy mule. Pink pill women. Why y'all ain't talking about the mammy mule? Because see, the mammy held it down for white folks. That's what the mammy did. The mammy didn't give a damn about black people. It was, yes, sir, Mr. Boss. Yes, Miss Lady. Oh, yes, I do. Oh, yes. Honey, the mammy was all for the white folks. And I'm not even trying to attack mammies in that way because they were victims too. You feel me? They were victims. But this chick is willingly being a mammy. She's being a mammy by total choice. Not circumstances of being enslaved or owned or any of those kinds of things, but actually choosing to be owned by these white people, actually choosing to do their bidding, actually choosing to be their bulldog. She's making a willful decision to do these things and say these things about black people. And I expect nothing less when something happens. I expect nothing less than to see her out here running her mouth and to see black people on social media actually supporting her. Not all, a lot of us go at her head, but it's far too many who, she do make a good point. She make a good point. That is true. Oh gosh. Okay, I passed the mic. I'm sorry.
Nah, you on point. You on point. This whole, this whole LeBron thing and, the whole, making the tweet and pulling it down, everything else, he caved to the pressure. It is what it is, I do want to take time out to recognize his tweet real quick. The point at the cop. I want y'all to focus on the cop, not the text, the picture of the cop. Why do these fuckers even have tasers? Why do these fuckers even walk around with tasers in their possession when they rarely use it in our community? They probably don't even, I mean, that shit is right in front of him, bold as shit. Bold as shit right there in front of him, and he immediately reached for his gun. Not the taser that's right there in front of him. Can't miss it. No, he went to his hip and grabbed his gun. Not because that young sister had a gun. No, she had a knife. And he felt the gun was suitable. Not the taser. Not the taser. So she could drop the gun and, drop the knife and be, disabled to the point where he could corral her. No. I'm going to dump a few bullets up in him. While that other girl's right there. Fuck whether or not she catch some of these bullets. I don't give a fuck. It's good target practice. Right? These motherfuckers go to the shooting range 3 times a week. Right? They go to the shooting range 3 times a week. He couldn't wait to get some good shit in. He been practicing for this shit for about 6 years. He couldn't wait. Now's my chance. This is what I've been training for. I gotta hit her with precision. Crazy. The fuck he got the goddamn taser for? They don't believe in tasing black people. They don't believe in that. That's not a suitable option for black people. Only for white people. That taser is for when they get into conflicts with white people. That's what the taser's for. When they get into conflicts with white people. It's pretty disgusting. Taser should have been the first thing he reached for. First thing. That's usually the case, barring somebody having a gun. That's usually the case. Apparently not with a black girl. He got to dump holes in her. Again, I'm not saying she shouldn't have been contained. She should have been fatally shot. She shouldn't have lost her life for that. Detained? Yes. Possible assault charges? Yes. You want to hit her with attempted murder, you would have a case. But she should at least have had a chance to go to trial. If that was what was going to happen. We'll never know. Again, we still don't even know the backstory. I'm dying to hear that. Not that it'll make that much difference at this point in time, but I'm curious to know. Who was the actual aggressor here? Was she the aggressor, or was she pushing back? Which one was it? Like I don't know the story. So I would like to know the story. The backstory. Just for clarity. But again, not like it'll make too much difference, because at the end of the day, still should have been tased. That's the position I hold. Situation like that, if you gotta whip out something, the taser should always be first, barring somebody having a gun. If a person don't have a gun, the only thing you should be reaching for, if you gotta reach for something, is the taser. Maybe your billy club. But why have all this weaponry if all you're gonna do is just pull out the gun and shoot every fucking body? You might as well just have the fucking gun. Fuck all the rest of the shit. Just walk around with the fucking gun. Alright, you got all this extra shit, tasers and billy clubs and all this other useless shit that you don't fucking need. When all you need is your gun. You got all this extra shit here, your utility belt, taking up all this space. You can have more ammunition up in there. You can have more ammunition up in there to load up. That way, when you dump a clip in a 16-year-old girl, you ain't got to motherfucker go all the way back to motherfucking to the fucking station to get some more motherfucking artillery. You got it right there. You know what I mean? You got a whole hip of that shit. You got a whole belt of that shit, whole utility belt. But you got all this other shit taking up space, so now you only got one. Now you only got one clip. You only got one clip to dump in this 16-year-old. Now the next 16-year-old come walking by, you fuck. Well, you should just keep the taser and all that shit home. You ain't using it anyway. You ain't never using that shit anyway. Bitch ass motherfuckers. I hate the fucking pigs. I swear I can't stand these motherfuckers. Anything I love. Shit's crazy. No way. Can't nobody convince me she deserved to get shot multiple times. Like I said, tased, yes. Detained, yes. Charges, maybe. Whatever. If she got the charges, whatever. I can't say she wouldn't have deserved it. But I would swallow that. What I can't swallow is this motherfucker feeling like he had to dump bullets all up in him. That's what I can't stomach. There's other ways he could have handled that situation. There's other ways he should have handled that situation, in my humble opinion. Again, I'm not saying she was an angel. I don't know the backstory. But I know she deserved to be contained because she did have a knife. Again, whether or not charges were to be pressed, that's a different story. You gotta get the backdrop to understand, to do all that. But in that moment, all she deserved at that moment was to be contained. That's it. Taser, she drops the knife, she falls. You put the cuffs on her, and you find out what the fuck just happened. That's how you handle that situation. That's how a trained cop should have handled that situation. We don't get that luxury. We don't get that luxury, family. I showed you the difference of how they treat white people, how they treat black people. I showed y'all. I showed y'all the white privilege these motherfuckers have when it comes to these pigs. I showed y'all. I gave y'all examples. I got more, but I ain't want to take up the whole show. Whole assload of examples of shit like this not happening to white people. Example after example after example. Alright? So, at the end of the day, that's just my opinion on all this. Right? That was excessive force that I think was unneeded given that situation. She didn't stab anybody. She had the knife up for a second. She didn't come down with the knife. I don't think she was going to come down with the knife. I think she was just talking shit, threatening her. Again, something must have happened before that for them to feel the need to do that, because she felt justified in doing what she was doing because she knew the cops were there. That's what makes me wonder whether or not this was her crib that they was in front of. because she felt justified. So again, I don't know. I kind of need to know the backdrop. I kind of need to know whose crib that was, who were the initial aggressors, who had got the cops called on them. Was she the one who got the cops called on, or did somebody call the cops on the other girls? And whose crib was that? And what happened before the cops got there? I need to know these three things. I need to know these three things before I start laying a whole lot of fault on her. Because I don't know. I know the only thing I can tell you is her and that dude felt very justified in their actions just by the sole fact that they was doing what they was doing in front of the cops. They felt justified. They felt like they ain't doing nothing wrong. Like they was in every right. They would do it because if they was doing something wrong, or they felt like they was doing something wrong, they would have broke out when the cops came. They would have broke out. Most people doing dirt, if the cops come, once the cops come, they disperse. Everybody. They get the fuck out of there. They didn't do that. They got more aggressive. Which again leads me to believe, I don't know, but it seems like this might have been her crib they was fighting in front of. Not sure. Okay, that was supposed to be the foster home she lived in. Okay, like I said, she lived there, right? She lived there. So again, like I said, because she wasn't acting like somebody who did not live there, right? Like she wasn't acting like somebody who came to somebody's crib starting drama. Because if that was the case, again, when the cops came, she would have broke out. Like, I'm in front of these motherfuckers' crib with this fucking knife trying to stab people. Cops here, time to go. You know what I mean? Like, that's most motherfuckers' mentality, right? But nah, that ain't what she did. So again, I kind of need to know the backdrop. I just need to know the backdrop. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know. You know what I mean? There's a lot of shit behind that happened before the cops got there. I just need to know what's going on. All I know is the cops did not handle that correctly. Because the cops should have had the same questions I had. But he didn't. And he decided to take actions into his own hands and become judge, jury, and execution. Like a lot of these fucking pigs. Feel me? I'm just saying. Renee, you there?
Yep, I'm here. Okay. You on point, yeah. I think they said it was a foster home, so yeah.
Yeah, it was a foster home. So that's what I'm saying. Like, were all these girls in the foster home? Are these girls, was the girl that was about to get stabbed, was she a part of the foster home? Was the one who got kicked, was she a part of the foster home?
I'm not.
Yeah, like these are questions that's what I'm saying, I need to know. Because if these girls were at the foster home getting their ass kicked, were they the ones did they come there starting the shit?
Right.
You know, that's again, like, I don't know. Who called the cops on who? You know, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. They could have had a knife too. Don't nobody know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of details, you know.
Maybe that's why she had a knife. Yeah, maybe she grabbed a knife because they had a knife.
True.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, we just gotta wait and see, find out, hear the whole story. When the stories start coming out. I'm sure the stories will start coming out. When they do, then we'll know more, right? But for right now, we don't know. I could just go off logic and seeing how the situation happened and what was going on. I could draw up some conclusions based on that. But I don't know the nuance behind it, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah. But it's, it's a sad thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really sad case.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, y'all. We done
we done put on some hours.
Yeah, we done got through our stories and whatnot. Y'all, I was gonna have this debate coming up, but honey, I don't know. We gonna see. I can't deal with too much crazy people. I can't. My tolerance is low.
Yeah.
My tolerance is low. I don't know. But yeah, we gonna do something for y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you got anything you want to say before we get out of here?
No, not really. Just that I love you guys and I appreciate you guys so much. And yeah, I'm gonna see y'all on the next one. I'll probably, mess with Psycho on Saturday. Let me see what he's up to, because I know what he gonna be getting into, which should be very interesting. So, but yeah, other than that, I don't have nothing to say really. I love y'all.
Okay.
Huh?
I just want to say something real quick. This is like the third live stream this month that while I'm live, I find out somebody died. I was live when I found out DMX, or I was about to go live when I found out DMX passed away. That was right during my wake and bake, like right in the beginning of my wake and bake. The news broke that he died.
Mm-hmm.
We was live when I was live when Black Rob passed away. And that news cracked with that shit right before the end of my wake and bake last weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now today we live and we find out Shock G died, Humpty Hump.
Really?
While I'm live again, I'm about to what the fuck is going on? Why I'm scared to go live on Saturday. I don't want another legend to die. I don't want another legend to die. But if I go live on Saturday and somebody else gonna fucking pass away, like this is crazy. It's crazy. So yeah, Humpty Hump died, aka Shock G. Rest in peace to him. The guy that actually founded. Well, you can argue if Mr. C founded Biggie, then you can say Humpty Hump founded Tupac. Then you can say Humpty Hump founded Tupac, right? Because like Humpty Hump's the one that put Tupac in front of the world, in front of the world, right? Nobody knew who the fuck a Tupac was without Shock G and Humpty Hump, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, respect to him. They was doing their thing before Pac, and they was huge, and that's how Pac first got his name out there. That's how he first got noticed, and the rest is history, right? So, Shock G, shout out to him. He passed away. Rest in peace. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's just sad deal.
Man. Dang, I didn't even know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, happy my being live. Yeah. News broke. I saw a couple people mention in the chat and I looked and I was like, ain't this about a bit? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, definitely. Rest in Black Power to Shock G. Dang. Man. Now, and it's like when some of these people pass, like different legends and stuff, you go back and revisit their music and stuff, and I love Digital Underground, like oh man, that's sad.
Yeah,
that's really sorry to hear that. And like Psycho mentioned, Black Rob recently passed away. So arresting Black Power to him as well. Dang. And then I was hearing news about earlier about Baby Blue from Pretty Ricky, but I think he's in ICU. So I think he's gonna make it, I believe, but I know he did say he may have to walk again or something. He tried to grab the gun during a robbery. Somebody was trying to rob his cousin and something like that happened. And he ended up getting shot, and I think it went in his lung, and then to his back or something. So hopefully he has a speedy recovery. So yeah, that's messed up.
Yeah, sad. But yeah, sad to hear. But yeah, my bad. You want to get your last words in, Renee, before we get out of here?
Oh no, I had already said them, but yeah, I love y'all. Stay black, stay proud, and make sure again, y'all keep your eyes open, honey, because these white folks is pissed. These race soldiers, all these people, and baby, they waiting. And we got to be mindful. And this is the month of April. It's about to be over soon, but this is like one of their months, supposedly, because it's a month I think Hitler was born, all this other stuff. So anyway, y'all just keep your eyes open, be mindful, and, much love. And y'all, let's make sure we ride hard for our people and we give our people the benefit of the doubt. So other than that, that's all I got to say, and I'll see y'all on the next one.
Right. All right. And family, please do me a favor. Please click like, share, and subscribe. It's very important that you click like, get us in the algorithm. Also important that you share, let people know we brew. And also important that you click subscribe. You know what I mean? And when you do click subscribe, please don't forget to hit that notification bell. Very important that you hit that notification bell, because sometimes we might get shadow banned, and that's the only way you can find us. Plus, you want to be notified whenever we do go live and be a part of the notification gang, so you get here nice and early. You don't miss none of the shows, right? And also, to my haters out there, it's about that time. You already know what it is. If you had any issues with shit that you heard today, any problems with any positions motherfuckers hold, now's the time to express yourself. I embrace these. So you can express yourself by clicking dislike. Please still share these motherfuckers. And then you might want to unsubscribe, because, if you got a problem with our positions today, they ain't going to probably get any better for you. And I already know you ain't on none of these motherfuckers right here. Now I got family. Please consider becoming a Patreon. You know what I mean? If you do become Patreon, you have access to any stream I do, whether I keep it up or whether I take it down. I also have exclusive content on there, and I also have no limits on there. Whatever you feel like the channel is worth, that's what you donate. All donations given does go towards the production of the show. As always, shout out to all my Patreon out there again. Appreciate all y'all. And family, please follow me on Twitter and the gram at SYKOPATHeist, spelled the same way as the channel. Also, please subscribe to all our channels. You know what I mean? All these links will be in the description. Be sure to subscribe to all these channels, because sometimes we might have to channel hop and you want to be able to find us wherever we at. So yes, please go in the description, find all these channels, and please subscribe to all of them. And yes, as always, family, if you are looking for any graphics, artwork designs, or logos, please consider hitting up our sister Renee at Renee Black Graphics on Facebook. Also, if you're looking for any t-shirts, hoodies, or coffee mugs, all custom designs, please consider hitting up her store as well. Just like all the other links, these will also be in the description box as always. And yes, family, next time y'all will hear me will be on Saturday on my Wake and Bake build. I already know what I'm going to talk about. Something drastic got to happen for me not to talk about this. I have to talk about this. And so, yeah, we're going to get it in on Saturday. So be on the lookout for that. Know what I mean? So, yeah. And, yeah, family. Know what I mean? I want to shout out everybody out there out in the live chat. I appreciate all y'all for coming through. Know what I mean? Shout out to My Deep. Shout out to everybody else. Shout out to everybody out in the clouds that was just listening, being nosy. I want to give a peace and black power out there to everybody. Holla black at your boy and your girl. We out.
Battle anybody, I don't care, you battle anybody, I don't care, you battle anybody, I don't care, you battle any battle, I accept. They all gonna Let's go.